This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you. Welcome to DBL. It's Hump Day Wednesday.
We made it.
I always say that. May 19th. I'm Tori.
Can I say something honestly to kick the show off?
Is it about my pink dress?
No, I like your dress.
I love your dress.
Okay,
I think it was like a week and a half ago, we made fun of our executive producer, Chris, for being late counting us in. And ever since then, he's had the enthusiasm of like a spin cycle coach. Every time he brings us a 3, 2,
You can do it.
waiting to get on a Black Hawk chopper. All right.
Abort
mission.
Love it. Let's get started. Why are Prince Harry and Meghan so polarizing? All right, so today is their 3rd wedding anniversary. First off, mazel tov. I wonder what that is, like paper or gold or something?
5 years was paper.
Yeah, probably.
Do you know?
Something like linen.
Why do you guys always come to me with the marriage questions?
Sorry.
Come on.
And boy, have they had a rough 3 years. It all started with this huge storybook wedding costing a reported $45 million. Nearly 30 million Americans tuned in to watch. I was there right at the wedding, close to a pub. Since then, they've now left the royal family and are living in California. They also did this bombshell interview with Oprah, making a number of serious allegations against the royal family, which has divided the public. Now, even some Americans, like Sean Hannity, are upset with the couple, specifically Prince Harry, for what he said recently about the First Amendment being, quote, bonkers. Take a look.
Harry, we really don't need you coming from England to give us lectures on the First Amendment. And if you can't understand the importance of free expression and the importance of constitutional principles that allow for a free exchange of ideas and ideals and opinions that have made America the greatest country on earth, then maybe it's time for you to move to a place more compatible with your restrictive ideas.
So why do you think this couple is so polarizing, and are you a fan or not? Go to dblvote.com to tell us what you think. Some people say it's her. Some people say it's him. Some people say it's that she didn't follow the Cinderella story, right? She had a prince and she took him away. What is it about them? Is it because she's African-American, half African-American? What do you think?
I mean, of course, that has something to do with it. The optics.
Yeah,
she even said that
call it
herself,
out.
and then all the tabloids showed us that has something to do with it. But I think beyond that, just this outspoken woman who came into a family that she wasn't even English, she wasn't British. She came in and said, well, not just by herself, with Harry, who also was the defiant kid of the family. I mean, he had a slew of things that he did that were not royally appropriate, quote unquote. And so them together just made this like perfect couple, actually, that to rebel against the entire establishment. And I think for people, and for somebody who studied abroad in London, like the crown and everything is so important. It's just so, and so when you're just saying anything to bash it or to make it feel like it's less important and it's not necessary anymore, and then when Harry gets over here and then speaks on American ideals and some of our constitutional rights and our amendments, then I think it's like, okay, who are these people? To both sides, because first it was just Brits, now it's like Americans, kind of like, okay,
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you think, Al?
Yeah, it makes me think of that song, I Bet You Think the Song is About You.
Oh,
you know,
love that.
I
bet you.
I don't
Carly
think this
Simon?
has to do with either one of them. I think this has to do with the people that are looking at them, because it makes me think about the story of Andrew Luck. He was a big-time quarterback in the NFL, retired kind of early. We found out later he had crazy injuries, lacerated spleen. But people, as soon as he retired, he went to Stanford. You would think, hey, you retired in your 20s, multimillionaire. You're the success story, but people screamed at him, called him every name under the book. You're a weak person, basically, me cleaning it up. And it's because football fans would dream to be a star quarterback that went to Stanford. So when he retired, they were like, how dare you take my dream away from me? I'm living through you.
Right, and a lot of little girls, I think, wanted to live that.
Well, I think a lot of little girls that are now grown women are now upset that you walked away from my princess dream that I've been following my life by. So I think it has a lot to do with that.
Wow, good call on that. Guess what? The princess saved the day this time. Good one. Okay.
Good one, Dory.
Thanks a lot. The vote is 54%. Are you a fan? Yes. No, 46%. Not a huge majority. Not a huge majority. Write us in and
polarizing.
tell us. Why, yeah, I'm a fan, but we got some people that are not. All right, here's a question for you. Should teens be able to make up their own mind about getting the COVID-19 vaccine? So it turns out it totally depends on where you live. So let's go to South Carolina. A 16-year-old can get one without their parents' consent. But let's go up to New York. A 17-year-old cannot. In Oregon, anyone 15 or older can. So, okay, what do you think? Should teens be able to make up their own mind, and at what age? This is tough, y'all.
I feel like we've become like a society where we're letting kids' voices resonate with adults, and we're listening to kids more. Because I just think back to when I was a kid, it was like, you're going to get the shot. You're not getting the shot. Whatever it was, that's what I was doing.
Me too.
But because I learned so much being in media, and I've seen so much of what has happened over the last 5 years, even, I'm just like, I don't even know where I stand on this, because I believe a 16-year-old is grown, but I also am the same person that believes a 16-year-old should be able to remedy some of their faults that they made when they become an adult and shouldn't be held accountable in the same way an adult should. So I have no idea.
It's really fluid because like at some point I know what you mean when I'm like, oh, like the Parkland students, they should have a right in so much more than we give them credit for about like school shootings. All kids should, right? Because it's affecting them. And this should too, but then you're like, but their brains aren't fully developed until like 22, 23. What do you think?
Right, and we're talking about imaginary things. Imaginary state lines. I mean, we just drew that, the line between Ohio and Kentucky. So you're telling me a 16-year-old 50 miles in Cincinnati and Louisville are that much different, but they're going to be governed under totally different laws. And also sometimes that 16-year-old can own a firearm, and sometimes that 17-year-old can drink booze. This is all made up. And what we're trying to do is base this made-up rules that we just made up out of nowhere and then place it on a generation of kids that are so much smarter than us.
They are so much smarter.
My son sat there, we watched Wonder Woman 2, and I remember I asked him, I was like, what do you think about the movie? He's like, it's good, but I don't like their B storyline with the whole business plot. And I was like, what? I didn't understand about B. But they're kids, and they watch videos, and they understand, and they listen to angry YouTubers break down things, and they learn. They're so much more worldly than us, so I think they make a better decision. But my kid's getting a shot, so I don't care.
That said, I'm telling you what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you're out of my house, you get that shot. Yeah, that's how I feel too. If you're a parent, write us in. If you're a kid, write us in. Do you all remember that candle? You know, the one that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop is selling. You know the one. It smells like a certain female body part. Well, now a man in Texas is suing Goop for $5 million. He said he bought the candle in January, and after lighting it, it became engulfed in flames before exploding and leaving a black burn ring on his nightstand. Now the company is calling the lawsuit a, quote, frivolous attempt to secure an outsized payout. But what do you think about Gwyneth's candle allegedly exploding like this? And let me explain, another person had it also explode. There's been another instance. Now, I'd also talked to someone who knows candles, and if you leave it burning for forever, that's on you.
So when I heard that earlier about leaving a candle burning, I left candles burning so many times for more than 2 hours. I feel like that terrified me, but also there should be like a huge warning, I think, on the candle that says for more than 2 hours this might explode. That's different than just like, okay, yeah, you can always burn your house down. I think that's like 10 hours, 20 hours all day, but more than 2 hours, I'm terrified now to light a candle.
I know, exploding Gwyneth Paltrow.
I thought that was very strange and alarming. I just want to know how much his nightstand cost. It must have been $4.5 million. It's
$5 million for a burn ring.
I just don't like where we're at the point where like anything that happens, Lindsay or Tori, it's the most outlandish number you've ever heard in your adult life. It's like, oh, my mug broke, I need $7.5 million. It's like, can we just get back to reality? If he feels like he was put out something, make him whole. But like everything doesn't have to be this like legal battle.
What if the smell was so atrocious that it's worth $4 million?
I mean, look, I
that's
don't
more
know.
Believable.
But what if it actually smells better?
There you go.
Now he found a new scent. Now he breaks up, starts his own company. That's America.
That's America for you. Coming up on DBL, a week of your favorite 90s sitcom stars continues with Sabrina, the teenage witch star Melissa Joan Hart. She's weighing in on Britney, who guest starred on the show back in the day. And a prominent astrologer is saying J-Lo and A-Rod's breakup was written in the stars.
Is it me?
No. Is romance really determined by the universe? I'm sure Al has something to say about this. That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, The Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline. It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
DBL, we were just talking about this in the studio. How seriously do you take astrology? Because it looks like the breakup between J-Lo and A-Rod may have been written in the stars. According to an astrologer, there were signs in A-Rod's chart that the relationship was doomed. She said that the rare placement of his stars is upsetting his chart, making things difficult for him, but that he just needs to let J-Lo go. Meantime, for J-Lo, her stars are in the same place they were back in 2002 when she got together with Ben Affleck. So the astrologer said she isn't surprised that the two may have rekindled their romance.
When I went to my high school guidance counselor, I didn't know that there was a job where you could predict things a week after they happened.
What?
Like, why didn't he tell me that? These are great, accurate predictions.
I totally know what you mean, but I also kind of believe a little. Now, Lindsay is all in.
I'm all in with astrology. I think
Matt Lindsay don't have the healing crystals.
Yeah, where's your crystal?
Excuse me, this is a quartz right here, okay? Quartz crystal right here. So listen, I think that J-Lo, you have to go by signs to see if you can even be compatible with somebody.
Really?
So you can't be like this outgoing, want to go out all the time person that dates somebody who's a homebody, and those are usually written in the signs. And so J-Lo and A-Rod might have problems before, and this astrologer is pointing it out now. Like, obviously this wasn't going to work.
He cheats all the time with her, allegedly.
But astrology will tell you, he might be stepping out. Susan Miller specifically gets real specific on there.
I do have to say.
I think that, there's some truth to this.
I do have
also,
to say,
like signing a contract during Mercury retrograde, I don't do that.
That's true.
I try not to do it. I mean,
I will just say, if you guys don't know, Susan Miller, Lindsay introduced me. She's an astrologer. She's just, you can look at it for free. It's really accurate. Okay.
Like specific.
Like week later accurate?
No, like month early tells you how your whole month will go.
Okay. I'm not arguing with the crystal. I keep staring at the crystal. I'm scared.
I'm scared because I'm doing witchcraft over here.
That's right. All right, Melissa Joan Hart is up next, and she's explaining it all. Get it? Clarissa explains it all.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. We're celebrating our favorite 90s sitcom stars, and earlier, Clarissa herself, Melissa Joan Hart, joined us. So take a look.
Mom, don't you realize that if I don't watch TV, I won't be able to keep up with the cultural level of my peers?
Clarissa, you know there is nothing on TV but an endless stream of the same sitcoms, game shows, and commercials.
That's what I mean. Where else can I experience the vast wasteland that we call the 20th century? Where else can I get chewing gum for my eyes? And what about Johnny Depp?
Oh my gosh, I never missed an episode. Melissa Joan Hart, welcome to DBL. Now, Clarissa Darling was hands down, in my opinion, growing up, the coolest teenager in the 90s, and also, I have to say, a very positive role model for young girls at the time. So 30 years later, who would Clarissa be today?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. We've been asking that for a little while now, me and the showrunner, and we kind of disagree on where she might be. You know, I'd like to think that she would have a few cool kids that would be taken over for her.
So we have to talk about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because I know we all faithfully watched it. I know me and my friends did. But other than random talk show hosts calling their friends from 20, 30 years back saying something about you, what's the craziest thing that a fan has ever done to get your attention?
Oh, well, one time somebody on the Paramount lot while we were shooting Sabrina dug through my trash and found some of my old underwear, apparently.
Ew.
I never liked to wear thongs when I was on Sabrina. Here's a little inside. I did not like to do the thong thing, but then my wardrobe people always made me wear a thong, so I'd change my underwear during the day. And I guess a pair ended up in the trash, and someone tried to sell it on eBay, so they called the guy in for an interview, I think, at Paramount, and then arrested him.
Wow.
So that was fun.
We didn't get the reboot scoop, but we got that.
No,
that's
and
gold.
I have like my own like personal fandom question about Salem the cat. Because Salem was mechanical, did it ever like malfunction in the middle of a scene?
No, it didn't really malfunction because it was more like remote control. It wasn't really robotic as much as it was just remote control. But the real cat sure did. The real cat would just wander off, you know, jump out of your arms, scratch it, you know, like eat the food on the table because, of course, it's a cat, it's an animal, and there's food on the table, you know.
How
so
cute.
We, whenever we were lucky enough to have the cat voice, who is Nick Bakay, who's now the showrunner of Mom and went on to do huge things, but he was one of our writers. And so when he was on set and he'd watch the live cat do something, our bloopers are all him kind of improvising whatever the cat's doing and pretending that's what Salem would say to that.
That's hilarious.
We had some fun with the cat.
Okay, so
the robotic cat never malfunctioned. That was my favorite co-star because it got its lines right, you know, was always on its mark. Like everything was very smooth when the animatronic was out.
The perfect co-star. Now, from your cameo on Sabrina to the music video, or her cameo rather, on Sabrina to the music video Drive Me Crazy, you and Britney Spears were peers in the 90s, and you even mentioned that at that time you noticed how sheltered she was. So all these years later, and we've talked a lot about this on the show, advocating on her behalf and mental health and all of that, what's it like for you to see that she's still fighting those same battles?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, we spent a lot of time together back in like 99, 2000. I haven't kept in touch since. So I saw her in Vegas at her show a few years ago, but you know, we had maybe 2 minutes to catch up, and I don't really know what's going on with her personally. Not sure if the Free Britney campaign is necessary. I mean, I've seen the documentary and it was heartbreaking, but yeah, at 17 years old, I could see that she was kind of drowning in it all. You know, just a lot of people around her, a lot to do, a lot on the schedule, and not being able to be a kid, and not being able to be social, and just everything was so timed out, from her workouts to her, you know, endorsement deals to touring to music videos. It was a lot, and you know, she was trying to find ways to break free a little bit, I feel like, but she was also a very responsible, work ethic driven person. So you know, it's hard because I was able to find my fun time. Like I'd probably work 12, 14 hours a day, but then I had my weekends or I had my late nights where I would go to dance clubs, but I was able to sort of reel it in and be like, I'll go out for 1 hour, dance, and then go home, and sort of let it out there. But also my people that I worked with really kept me safe, and they were a lot of fun to be around. So I had peers on set, and we're all still really close, whether it's the crew or the cast, we're all really close. We talk constantly. We hang out constantly. My hair, makeup, wardrobe people are on their way here to visit me in a few weeks because I just moved, and so they're coming to see me. And so, you know, we all stay really tight and really close. And I had them on set to kind of keep me sane. And I feel like she never really had that. So it breaks my heart.
Melissa, you're a household name. I mean, everyone knows Melissa Joan Hart, and yet your name doesn't come up when we talk about child actors. You should get props for coming all the way up as a child actor to, you seem like a great person to me right now. So props to you for doing that.
Thank you. That's why I had to write a book. Actually, it's not something I'm really proud of. The book. It tells some of my stories, but it's not very savvy. You know, I didn't get really crafty with it. It's just me telling some stories because so many people were like, "How did you end up normal? Whatever normal is, right?" And, you know, that's saying, how did you not get so screwed up in Hollywood? How did you not end up doing drugs and, you know, being in the tabloids and stuff like that? And I just think I'm the oldest of 8 kids, and I felt a real sense of responsibility for them, for my parents, never wanting to disappoint people. Always learning, you know, that if I didn't do my job, someone else would. So I had to have a good work ethic and just, you know, having a real sense of responsibility, I think.
You
Good
are the
people around
example.
you. Yeah.
You are. Yep. DBL Nation, you cannot miss Melissa's newest holiday movie, Christmas in Tune, later this year on Lifetime. We cannot wait. Plus, even more during its annual It's a Wonderful Lifetime slate. Melissa Joan Hart, thank you so much for chatting with us and just being so transparent. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So scammers are taking advantage of the warmer weather to cheat you out of your hard-earned money. So listen up. Beware of these home utility scams. First up, the power shutoff scam. Con artists will pose as electric company employees, telling you they'll turn off your power if you don't pay. Related to that, watch out for utility imposters. They also pretend to be with the water or electric companies, just so they can get into your house and steal stuff. Finally, be cautious of overpayment scams. The scammer will say, oh, you've paid too much on your utility bill, and ask you to sign a form to get the refund. Be careful of that. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more.
So I have a quick question. Do you think it would be a good rule to have in place that like an employee like that wouldn't talk to you anyway? Like if they're to cut your water off, they're going to do it. They wouldn't have this negotiation like, can you sign this? They're either going to do it or they're not. I don't think like a real employee would be, because they wouldn't be able to negotiate with you anyway.
That's just a red flag.
That's billing.
Yeah, Oprah always said this, and I never forgot it. If you get that sense, we all know it, right? Where you're like, something's wrong. Don't ignore that sense.
Yeah.
The Oprah sense. All right, DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.
The Oprah sense.
Bye, guys. Everyone has the sense.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
3 years ago, Harry and Meghan's wedding captivated the world. Love them or hate them, why are they so polarizing? In today's True Crime Chronicles, Tom Arnold talks about his sister's dark drug-dealing past as the queen of meth.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
The Friends cast gets together ahead of their big reunion special.
No matter what, till death do us part. That's true.
And Kathy Hilton opens up about Paris's shocking abuse at boarding school.
And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, May 19th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home looking fabulous. Wowza. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with Harry and Meghan because of the fact that it's their 3-year anniversary. But this couple, I would say, more polarizing than any other couple in the world. And boy, have they had a rough 3 years. So it all started with this huge storybook wedding, right? Costing a reported $45 million. Nearly 30 million Americans tuned in to watch. Since then, they've now left the royal family and are living in California. They also did that bombshell interview that we talked about with Oprah, right? Making a number of serious allegations against the royal family, which has divided the public. And now even some Americans like Sean Hannity are upset with the couple, specifically Prince Harry, for what he said recently about the First Amendment being, quote, bonkers. Take a listen.
Harry, we really don't need you coming from England to give us lectures on the First Amendment. And if you can't understand the importance of free expression and the importance of constitutional principles that allow for a free exchange of ideas and ideals and opinions that have made America the greatest country on earth, then maybe it's time for you to move to a place more compatible with your restrictive ideas.
And he is not alone. Let me tell you, we are getting in comments left and right, and I will share those comments. But before, what do you think about this couple? And why do you think they're so polarizing? Are you a fan? Go to dblvote.com. Tell us what you think. Erica, before I read some of these comments, because they are coming in fast, why do you think they're so polarizing?
Well, I think, a lot of it is rooted in envy, and green isn't everyone's color. You're talking about people who have been in the spotlight. There's a disparity and a huge wealth gap. It seems like they aren't exactly understanding what everybody else is going through, although they do take their time and actually spend time in less, let's say, underserved communities and countries. The other thing is the royals have been thrusted upon us for quite some time. It's very hard to go a day without getting an alert about what's happening in the palace, which is very strange to me. But I also think that there's a racial factor here as well. Obviously, we know what our racial components in history are, and we also know about England as well. So people who want to stop and say everything's not about race, no, everything isn't about race, but some things are, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it's admirable what they do philanthropically. Did I say that right?
You nailed that.
I tried to. Anyways, I didn't. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. I think we put too much weight on them, is what I'm trying to say, right? They're out there doing good in the community. We should commend them for that, right? We put all this weight on like they're the go-to face couple. I personally don't. We talk about them a lot. I don't think we need to. I don't find them that interesting as a couple, right? I'm not that into the royal family. I don't know that much about it. I didn't watch The Crown, and people who think they're educated on the royal family, their only education's from The Crown, so relax, like you read a book or something.
Totally.
So, it's just, for me, I don't hate them, but I don't really admire them either. I admire what they do, like I said, philanthropically, but that's it.
Yeah, you know what?
Came back.
Jeff, we forget that the British had an empire. They literally have the weight of the world. People really do look to this couple to fill a role, and I think when they didn't fill that role and they decided to act like human beings that weren't happy in the situation, I think people pushed back on that, and I think we're missing the bigger thing is that this is a much cooler princess story. Because, I tried to show my daughter Snow White, and she's like, why is she, or Sleeping Beauty, she's like, why is she on the floor? She's in a calming headspace app. Like this would be a cool princess story. It's like, we don't like living like this. This is boring. We're going to LA.
Well, some people have resentment that it doesn't fit into that so-called everyday Cinderella story. But let me read the comments, then we're going to move on. Rhonda says, Prince Harry, if you do not like our First Amendment, go back home. Helen says, perhaps he thinks the freedom of speech should be for hurt and upset royals with daddy issues only. Wow. And Betty says, this couple is always so thirsty for press, it reeks of money grubbing. I tell you what, polarizing for sure. There's also a lot of people supporting them, though, too. Final vote. Are you fans of Prince Harry and Meghan? 55% of you say no. I just don't get it, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Okay.
Can we all agree that Erica looks like the prime minister of a country I want to move to?
Or an ambassador of some
looks,
sorts.
you look, you are radiant
You look
today,
unbelievable,
girl.
Erica. Please. Yes.
Well, y'all stop. I'll pay you later. Thank you.
She sips her tea. Okay, so do you all remember that candle that Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop is selling? You know, the one that smells like a certain female body part, okay? Well, now a man in Texas is suing Goop for $5 million. He said he bought the candle back in January, and after lighting it, it became engulfed in flames before exploding and leaving a black burn ring on his nightstand. Now, the company is calling the lawsuit a, quote, frivolous attempt to secure an outsized payout. But what do you think about Gwyneth's candle allegedly exploding like this? You guys know what candle I'm talking about, right? The one about the, you know, the delicate flower, if you will. Right? I don't know. I don't think I can say certain words on daytime TV, even though it's just biology. But, you know, her delicate flower. So what do you think about this?
I don't think we can say that.
Why?
I don't know. That metaphor just takes me somewhere. I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay. Well, what do you think of this story, Jeff?
Well, okay, first let me ask you, because you're the candle expert.
Okay. My husband more so, but yes.
I don't even understand a candle exploding. If you leave a candle on, it explodes?
So, okay. So my husband and I do have a candle company. We've had a candle company for 12 plus years.
Byron & Co.
Thank you. And we have, through organizations as well as ourselves, tested thousands upon thousands upon thousands of candles. And we even called one of our...
So you light them and say, meet back here in 3 hours.
No, you have like a whole system. There's a whole approval. And you can't even use certain fragrances because they could be combustible. So... from our experience, there's no way this could happen. Now, could a vessel, the candle vessel, burn to the point where it's so hot that the glass shatters and engraves a ring on the nightstand? Yes. Could it fall over because the glass shattered and lights up a curtain and your house gets on fire? Yes, but that would have to be, no joke, like 8+ hours of this vessel burning and lighting up that vessel on fire.
Are we still talking about the candle?
It's up to you. It could be a euphemism. It could be the candle.
Erica, what do you think, girl?
I think I'm just checking out my Byron & Co. candles.
Okay, I just feel so... Okay, Erica. Yes, girl.
I mean, they're amazing candles. That's all. I don't know anybody else who makes candles. I've never heard of these people and these candles. These are the only candles I know.
Erica, you and Sam are the only people that have ever been in my house. And Erica, you came before we even had furniture. And Sam, I happened to run into you walking down the street, and you came through. And what was in my living room?
You had a whole fireplace.
Drip candles.
Well, you had our candles, but then you had a whole fireplace full of candles, and I said, let me take those out and then put all of our candles in there.
I need to step my candle game up.
Yeah, but listen, you guys, you know at the bottom of the candle it says don't burn for more than like 2 to 4 hours. You got to listen to that.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's on there. You can't let your candle burn for like 16 hours.
If you're reading the directions on a candle, you have bigger problems.
I thought it just went out.
Yeah, like, stop.
I can't with you guys. It just goes out.
I thought it just burns out. Like it's out of wax and it ends.
You and I are going to have a talk in the break because I do not want to see your beautiful new home catch on fire, because if you go with that mentality, it will, friend. It will.
Yeah.
Come here.
What just happened?
I'm trying to save you.
Turn into a PSA at the end.
It will, friend.
Smokey the Bear over here.
Sam got me off candle wax.
Coming up, Kathy Hilton is opening up to DBL about Paris and her disturbing experience in boarding school so many years ago. Plus, Tom Arnold's family secrets we never knew, his sister's rise to the top of a meth empire, and an all-new True Crime Chronicles. And a prominent astrologer is saying J-Lo and A-Rod's breakup was written in the stars. Is romance really determined by the universe? Ooh, that's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, the Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline. It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
To DBL. So check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. Love your background, Leo. So how seriously do you take astrology?
I don't.
Hold it. Because it looks like the breakup between Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez may have been written in the stars. According to an astrologer, there were signs in A-Rod's chart that the relationship was doomed. She said that the rare placement of his stars is upsetting his chart, making things difficult for him, but that he just needs to let J-Lo go. Meantime, for J-Lo, her stars are in the same place back when they were in 2002, meaning when she was with Ben Affleck. So the astrologer said she isn't surprised that the two may have rekindled their romance. Okay, so I'm going to start with Erica, because Erica and I have had really deep conversations about astrology, right, Erica? So you believe in this.
Oh, absolutely. Astrology, numerology, I mean, all the ologies. I'm down with it. Because, I mean, honestly, I wasn't until probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and someone took me to a person, and they read my chart, and she has been on about everything. Contracts, how things change and shift in relationships, all sorts of things. And I think a lot of things are things we don't necessarily understand. And that doesn't mean that they don't exist or that they're silly.
Erica, really quickly, before she jumps in, are you talking about the woman that predicted my brother-in-law's double lung transplant date 3 months before? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's good to know that Erica has an astrologer that dabbles in contract law. Honestly, Erica, I don't believe that there are people that have superpowers, especially this person that chimed in a week and a half later. Is that like a Groupon astrologist that tells you something that's already happened? They already broke up, and then she's like, I predicted I knew they were gonna do that. How come my guidance counselor didn't tell me about this gig?
Oh.
just because they're just talking about it now doesn't mean that it wasn't out there. I mean, I simply think that we are so closed and there's so little that we actually know that we just are ignorant of. I feel like, you know, my former attorney, who's no longer with me, read my charts and did my contracts. So yeah, I do believe that those things come together, and they've come together in a way that I feel great about.
She gotcha.
I'm just, Jeff, I have an astrologer too, and he told me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. He just told me today. They won a couple months ago, but I mean, he hit it out of the park.
Jeff, where do you fall in this?
I don't know. I'm a little weary of astrologers and reading palms, but I am big on manifesting your own thoughts and beliefs. So if an astrologer tells you something positive, I believe your mind will go there. If the astrologer pulls out some cards and you get one of those death cards, I believe your mind goes there and you're a little bit more worried and cautious about your surroundings. So I think, you know, as long as you have a positive astrologer, I'm all for it.
They don't pull the death card out until your account runs out.
Okay, stop it. You think you're more into self-fulfilling prophecies.
Absolutely.
Which makes a lot of sense. I'm with you, Erica. Listen, there's been too many things that do not make sense, do not add up, too many predictions that have been accurate. By reading my chart, that there is something that we may not be able to explain.
But it's a generalization, though.
It's not. Erica and I have both been told.
Jeez, okay, it's not.
Erica, have you and I both been told specific dates?
Specifics down to the date. Like, I didn't even know that DBL was coming, and she told me when I was going to book it.
Okay.
Just things that you just cannot explain.
Did you have someone in your past that may have passed away? Did you have an animal that you connected with when you were a child? Okay,
did you?
I'm done. We're out of time.
I believed you for a second. I almost leapt out of my seat.
But that's what I'm saying. It's generalizations.
No, not the people that.
Yeah, because nobody had anyone who died before.
Because it's really hard to get appointments.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need you guys clogging up her calendar. Coming up on DBL,
She'll know when I'm calling.
The cast of Friends is building us all up for their upcoming reunion. Wait till you see the all-new trailer. And the newest Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Kathy Hilton, is here. She's talking reality TV and her daughter Paris coming up next.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. Another Hilton family member is coming to reality TV. The family's matriarch, Kathy Hilton, is joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we got her to serve up some exclusive tea. Earlier, she shared some of the drama expected to unfold this season. Plus, she talked about the documentary that shook her family. Check it out.
The Hilton family isn't one to shy away from the spotlight. Let's be honest, Paris was a reality star before there was such a thing.
This one's cute. I'll get this one too. My mom's credit card on file here.
But last year, during her documentary, a never-before-seen side of the Hilton heiress, after she shared stories of abuse that she suffered at her boarding school.
Something happened in my childhood that I've never talked about with anyone, but I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I would get punished by them. I still have nightmares about it.
But when did the rest of the Hilton family find out about these shocking revelations? The family's matriarch, Kathy, told us the moment her life changed.
When were you first made aware of this abuse?
Right when we were filming that documentary.
Wow.
Which my heart almost stopped. And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me. I don't think I've been the same since that. I've never watched, I've seen the trailers. I've never been able to watch that. I got into such a depression.
Kathy also reveals her family wasn't the only one impacted by the abuse.
And it's interesting, after it came out, several friends of mine, their children went to that school. And this was something we didn't talk about. So when people started opening up to me, their children never said anything either. And that was shocking, because I'm the kind of mother you can tell me anything.
Being an open book works well in reality TV.
Kathy Hilton's here!
That's why Kathy is taking the plunge and joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But what does her famous family think?
When Paris found out that I was doing the show, the housewife, she was disgusted.
No.
Did not. Both my daughters were like, because they said, oh, I was being shady. I was. I then kind of avoided them because I knew they would not be pleased. Now they're fine with it.
What did your sisters Kyle and Kim have to say about you being on the show?
Well, Kyle, as I told you, she really wanted me to do it, which really made me feel very good, because Kyle and I have had our share of problems.
On Housewives, the newbie never knows where to stand with the cast. So what were Kathy's first impressions of the ladies from Beverly Hills?
They all serve up drama. They are drama queens. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I love them. But these girls get very passionate about what they like, what they don't like. And they go on and on and on and on and on. They can switch like that.
When it comes to reality TV, all viewers want to know is, how real is it? According to Kathy, what you see is what you get.
I have never seen anybody be asked or whispered to say anything or to do anything. So it is, they let the cameras roll. We could go on yakking for 2 and 3 hours till 1 in the morning. And those camera people, you forget they're there. They end up blending into the walls.
Right.
Wow.
And that's where you get really good TV.
So overall, how did this rookie's first season go?
The whole experience for me was great. Now I just got to wait and see, as they say, how I'm edited.
Oh.
Kathy, shut up.
Oh, I can't wait. If you want to see how Kathy is shaking up the Beverly Hills Housewife cast, tune into the season 12 premiere tonight on Bravo. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Tomorrow on DBL, a week of your favorite sitcom stars of the 90s continues with Karen Parsons from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's talking life after the show. And from Bones and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tamara Taylor. She's co-starring in the new spin-off Law & Order Organized Crime. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Ooh, I love them both.
I loved her hat.
I know, so cute. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. Chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. They called her the Queen of Meth, Tom Arnold's own sister at the top of a criminal enterprise. The surprising details in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, Broadway and TV star Billy Porter is opening up about a medical diagnosis that changed his life more than a decade ago. And check out our coworkers at home during the pandemic, working very hard. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home in her fabulous outfit. I mean, we just can't get over it. We are getting a first look at next week's Big Friends reunion. James Corden will host the special on HBO Max on May 27th. Have a look.
Wow. Does Courtney still have her lines written on the table?
We've literally just slipped right back.
We regress.
We have such a bond from this show.
Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
Yes.
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 Oh my gosh, the cast is also on the cover of People magazine. David Schwimmer revealed that since the show ended 17 years ago, all 6 of them had only met up once, but the cast says their bond has always remained strong. Watch.
When we do get together, it's like no time has passed. I mean, I think everybody sort of has a relationship like that in their life. We get together and it's like you pick up right where we left off.
We're connected no matter what. No matter what. Till death do us part. That's true. Very true.
Really,
like siblings.
Very supportive. There's
Very sexual.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my 90s comfort nostalgic Sam is jumping up and down right now. I didn't realize how much comfort that would bring me until I saw them all together. I'm surprised.
Before Al dives in and gets us both, I'm going to tell you, I watched the trailer. I was excited too, because I didn't know how much that was a part of my life. Ross, I'm already calling their characters. David Schwimmer comes out and the armadillo. I'm like, oh, the holiday armadillo episode. And you start reliving like these episodes. I love seeing behind the scenes things. I love seeing like what they were doing when they read the script for the first time, where their careers were. Anything behind the scenes Hollywood I love, and I feel like this is what that special is going to bring. So I am on board. Al, take it away.
I am not. Look, I have very little to say. Eric, I want to hear from you. I didn't watch Friends ever. I don't know who any of these people are, but it seemed like it was comfort food, and especially I think it brings you back to a time when there was appointment television, because if you missed it, you missed it, and there was like a social currency and like being able to discuss the episode, so you had to be there to watch. So people had parties. So I'm here for it. I don't know what it is.
Erica, did you watch it?
I did watch it, and I really appreciate the way that Al just described it, because, you know, there are people who are like Al and they're indifferent. Some people are like, no, we don't need this, and other people are really craving this. I'm definitely someone who doesn't believe in the reboot, so when this was fodder, you know, a year or so ago, I was like, is it necessary to bring these things back? But after watching the trailer and seeing how they approached it, Jeff's right. Like, it brought me back to a time in my life and this sense of nostalgia, but it also made me very aware and appreciative of what's happening in the present. Because anytime I see these ensembles come together and they talk about their journey, I think about us and how we started and our journeys. Wow. And that's something that is so special, and not many people get the opportunity to really come together in that way when there's nothing, like not even a studio. So I just thought it was just a really great moment to watch that trailer.
Before we move on, because you were a big fan, what did you make of them? Some of them look recognizably a lot older.
Right.
And that's not disrespect.
Not at all. And you know why I think that's the first thing people notice? Because they're watching reruns on their television right now.
Oh, so they
just
stay
saw
that age.
Matt LeBlanc yesterday, who was 22, and now they see that and they're like, wow, Matt looks different. So I think saying that is not a dig at them. People get older. We get older. When you see me 10 years ago, you're like, what happened to that Jeff guy?
Yeah.
It's me.
You're still a beautiful man.
You know, I had the Rachel back in sophomore year of high school. I got the Rachel. Do you guys remember that haircut?
You should break it back out.
I probably
bring it back. It's been 20 years. Don't they say every 20 years?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my hairstylist about it. Okay, so switching gears here. Billy Porter has revealed he has secretly lived with being HIV positive for 14 years. He told The Hollywood Reporter he did his diagnosis for so long, or hid rather, out of shame. Watch.
My childhood was fraught with a lot of religious shaming. Growing up in the Pentecostal church, I was shamed for my behavior, for my attributes, from the minute I could comprehend thought, and, you know, told I would never be blessed, and told that AIDS was God's punishment for gays.
Wow, Billy said he was able to work through a lot of that shame thanks to his character on Pose, who is also HIV positive. He also recently told his mother, who told him that she loves him no matter what. This breaks my heart, because there is so much still, 30 years later, even though being HIV positive is not a death sentence or even the same disease that it was 30 years ago. I mean, people that are HIV positive can be, and they're undetectable, can't spread it. You can take a pill to prevent it. So it makes me sad that, Erica, there's so much still stigma, shame, misinformation attached to this diagnosis that it's crushing people. I mean, he just recently told his mother.
Oh, that is not surprising at all. I mean, think about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. That was the genesis for really stereotyping a community that was already under attack, that was already considered like socially, pariahs. So the idea that someone would contract the disease that people were preying on to them in terms of AIDS, of course he's not going to share that. But Pose on FX, the show that he stars on, if you're somebody who is even a little flexible and you're thinking this isn't even your thing, I would suggest you watch it, because it really shows the evolution of the LGBTQ plus community through the 80s, what things were like, how our country and our government really was not a support, in fact an enemy. It's just, it's so beautifully done, and I'm glad that he found his voice through his character, because I know he's helping so many people right now.
Yeah, and Erica, I'll just say that, we're talking about him and like his message that he's giving to the world, but we never think about Billy and like what he's being able, just imagine being able to take that off, take that raincoat of just like all the shame that was heaped on him unfairly, and just kind of remove all that, say this is who I am, and then everybody is just like, yeah, we love you.
Yeah, but but that's where this is where I'm confused, because you do see some shame here, right? I can't imagine what he must be feeling. But there has been 30 years of progress, and I get, believe me, the stigma and everything surrounding the AIDS epidemic and how this already marginalized community were completely preyed upon. I get that. How in 30 years are people still holding on to outdated misinformation associated with being HIV? I don't even think people, if you were to go down on the street, people would know that it's not a death sentence anymore.
Well, I think the biggest example of that is Magic Johnson, right? I think we saw Magic live through this, but I was just talk about ignorance. I'll point to myself first and foremost. I was talking to one of our producers, Michael Dean over there. I did not know that someone with AIDS,
HIV
positive, you could take some pills and almost use that, and definitely use that as a prophylactic against the AIDS. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I'm ignorant in that sense. But when we talk about representation all the time on this show, it comes in all forms, shapes, colors, stigmas, whatever it may be.
Diagnoses.
You have to talk about that, right? So I didn't know, had it not been for Billy in this story, I wouldn't have talked to my producer in just a casual conversation, and I would not have known that. So that's why representation is so important.
But now your sons are going to know that.
Absolutely.
And that's how these kind of stigmas go away. In another couple of years, people will know a lot more. So
conversation
I'm excited
matters.
about the younger generation.
Amen. Well said, Jeff. Okay, so
not me, just right over my head. Cool.
And she told Erica she looks really great
right
twice.
over the two pieces of glass. Like, I don't want to.
I can't.
Al, I like your pen, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And I love you as a person inside.
Do you see how that works, Sam? Well, build your co-host up.
Coming up on DBL. Okay, this is an important story, everybody. She is dubbed the Queen of Meth. Tom Arnold's sister was running a drug ring while he was making it big in Hollywood. The family drama in True Crime Chronicles, and our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. Happy Hump Day, you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, The Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline. It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. Lori Arnold ran one of the biggest meth empires in the 90s. After being caught and serving time, she's finally sharing her story alongside her famous brother, Tom Arnold. The two kept their past a secret until now. Here's the remarkable story on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
My name is Lori Arnold. I'm a material technician. The money I make a week, I used to make that in a few minutes.
Lori Arnold was one of America's most infamous and unexpected drug lords.
So easy to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was too easy.
She turned addiction into an enterprise, which stemmed from a trauma-filled childhood. She and her brother Tom grew up in Ottumwa, Iowa, in an unstable family.
First time I took speed, I was 14, and it was with my mom.
Their mother got Lori hooked early and would offer her up to older men.
She served my sister up, her daughter, to a rapist and a serial pedophile. She said, here he is. And that's beyond bad judgment. That was a big deal. It really set the tone for me versus my mom. I mean, openly hostile from that point on.
Tom needed to escape that environment, so he moved to California to pursue writing and comedy. He went on to star in Roseanne, The Jackie Thomas Show, and more. Meanwhile, back home, Lori was running a sprawling multi-state meth empire.
Decided I was gonna do something. Even if it's wrong, I'm gonna do something to take care of myself.
She began using, dealing, and supplying to her hometown and beyond.
We decided to cook our own on our property, so we wouldn't have to drive to California, to get it. So I ended up hiring my own chemist to order a whole meth lab out of a catalog.
Her lab was producing between 10 to 20 pounds of meth a week.
We would order P2P, which came in 55-gallon drums from Albuquerque, and that makes the real methamphetamine. That is the Breaking Bad methamphetamine.
Each week, she raked in at least $200,000.
Lori always had a lot of friends. But I'll tell you, when she was selling drugs, she was extremely popular.
Their economically depressed hometown suddenly became a booming meth empire.
The first time I tried it, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, so I want my friends to share it with me. It wasn't like I want to go get everybody addicted and ruin their lives.
Her reign lasted about 6 years.
She became a big-time drug dealer and ended up in prison. Well, right.
In 1989, the queen of meth was caught after the FBI had been following her for years. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Because there's just some that mothers don't do.
Well, yeah, what she did was wrong.
No, she ruined your life.
Well, she
ruined your life.
I forgave that.
Lori was released early in 1999, only to fall back into the drug game again. After being arrested and serving time again, she was released in 2008.
I'm standing here strong because of what I went through. I don't know. I'll always be remembered as the Queen of Meth.
Wow. Earlier, Alan Torrey spoke with Lori's brother, actor Tom Arnold. Take a look.
We are here with Tom Arnold. Thank you, Tom, for coming on DBL. Now, Tom, most people know you as an actor and comedian, but what they don't know is that you and your sister Lori had a really difficult and very secret past. So if you can Wayne's World us back in time to your childhood, you're in Iowa. What was that like watching your mother expose your little sister to drugs and the complete opposite of sort of a normal childhood?
It wasn't good. I think that our mother left when I was 4 and my sister was 3. I knew our mother was not a mother. But when I was 15, I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted to drink. I wanted no adult supervision. So I moved in with her. And unfortunately, my sister followed. My sister who worshiped her. And she was 14, and the first drug she ever did was with our mother. They were bar buddies. They went out one night. They met a guy that's 23. And my mother drove my sister, 14-year-old sister, and this serial pedophile to Missouri and made them get married. And I just knew her life is over. You just screwed up your daughter's life. And that's really what happened. The guy beat her. She eventually left him. I went to get her is what happened. And then she met another guy that was the captain of the Grim Reaper motorcycle gang, married him at 18. And they were already involved with drugs. And my sister's very smart. She was great at school before she left. And she said, well, let's make this a real business.
Oh, wow.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
Wow.
Let's move forward to the 90s where you blew. I mean, you blew up. You starred in big gigs like Roseanne, which was maybe the biggest show of the 90s or one of them, and the Jackie Thomas Show. Meanwhile, your sister began running this massive empire. So just where do you see the split that you guys went down these different paths?
Well, in 1988, I moved to Los Angeles to write the Roseanne Show. You know, I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm in recovery, but I am that guy too. And I just knew after a year in Los Angeles, I can't keep doing this. I always had a dream, and I don't know if you call it God, but there was always some voice in my head that said, you could do better than this. Wow. There is something out there. If you get it together, there is something out there. So I just believed that. As crazy it is, I just thought, yeah, there is something outside of here. My dream is not here. It's outside of here, and I'm lucky that I got out.
What's your relationship with your sister like right now? I'm fascinated to know if you guys are getting along. How do you guys deal with each other?
You know, she is my little sister, and there's a lot of pictures of us growing up, and we've always had that relationship. I always thought I was like a parent to her, which I'm sure got very annoying because we're a year and a half apart. It's good. You know, the first time she got arrested, I was so sad. I was out in Los Angeles. I got a call from one of the feds. He said, there's nothing you can do. This is what happened. I was just terribly, terribly sad. They wanted to send her to prison for life, and I helped her get a good lawyer. They got that cut down. But the second time, after she'd been in prison for 8.5 years and went back there and started doing it again, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very angry. And I even warned her, they know you're dealing. If you stop today, they won't arrest you. And she's like, mind your own blank business.
Wow.
But I'm very proud of her now. She's living an honest life. She was honest in this documentary series. She got confronted by her son. She got confronted by other people. And I'm very proud of the life she's living now.
Wow, that's amazing. You can learn more about Lori's story. Watch the brand new documentary, Queen of Meth. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, brother.
We really do. Thanks again. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So scammers are taking advantage of the warmer weather to cheat you out of your hard-earned money. Beware of these home utility scams. So first, the power shutoff scam. Con artists will pose as electric company employees, telling you they'll turn off your power if you don't pay. Related to that, watch out for utility imposters. They also pretend to be with the water or electric company just so they can get into your house and steal stuff. Finally, be cautious of overpayment scams. The scammer will say you paid too much on your utility bill and ask you to sign a form to get the refund. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. So they full on dress up in the garb and knock on your door? Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, they're trying to steal money. While you're at work all day, while our viewers are thinking about their lives, there are people that are spending that much time and figuring out how to steal from you. So be careful. Just know that like a worker would never talk to you about billing. There's a whole other section for that.
Nor
so anybody at your house wouldn't be talking to you about your bill. That's not their business.
Nor are they just going to come knock on your door.
No.
Unannounced.
Right, but we got to come in and fix. Well, actually, if they're like, we got to come in and fix the
boiler?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I guess so.
That's honest.
You know what I mean?
That's honest. Well, now you learn.
That's how people feel. That's how they get over.
Come try it.
Yeah. Bring it.
Watch out. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Erica's back. You got some comments for us?
I do, about Harry and Meghan. Arla says, Harry is the product of two incredible human beings, as is Meghan. Stop being so judgy. Where Denise says, my opinion is Meghan is a narcissist and narcissism is polarizing. On the Friends reunion, Vanessa says, I'm so excited for the Friends reunion. So many memories. Where Dale says, love the nostalgic feels I'm getting from that trailer.
Stop being so judgy on an opinionated talk show.
Exactly.
Everything is just like, yeah, that seems good.
Erica, really quickly, are you going to go out afterwards in that fabulous outfit? You better. I guess not. Have a good day, everybody.
On Daily Blast Live.
3 years ago, Harry and Meghan's wedding captivated the world. Love them or hate them, why are they so polarizing? In today's True Crime Chronicles, Tom Arnold talks about his sister's dark drug-dealing past as the queen of meth.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
The Friends cast gets together ahead of their big reunion special.
No matter what, till death do us part. That's true.
And Kathy Hilton opens up about Paris's shocking abuse at boarding school.
And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, May 19th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home looking fabulous. Wowza. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with Harry and Meghan because of the fact that it's their 3-year anniversary. But this couple, I would say, more polarizing than any other couple in the world. And boy, have they had a rough 3 years. So it all started with this huge storybook wedding, right? Costing a reported $45 million. Nearly 30 million Americans tuned in to watch. Since then, they've now left the royal family and are living in California. They also did that bombshell interview that we talked about with Oprah, right? Making a number of serious allegations against the royal family, which has divided the public. And now even some Americans like Sean Hannity are upset with the couple, specifically Prince Harry, for what he said recently about the First Amendment being, quote, bonkers. Take a listen.
Harry, we really don't need you coming from England to give us lectures on the First Amendment. And if you can't understand the importance of free expression and the importance of constitutional principles that allow for a free exchange of ideas and ideals and opinions that have made America the greatest country on earth, then maybe it's time for you to move to a place more compatible with your restrictive ideas.
And he is not alone. Let me tell you, we are getting in comments left and right, and I will share those comments. But before, what do you think about this couple? And why do you think they're so polarizing? Are you a fan? Go to dblvote.com. Tell us what you think. Erica, before I read some of these comments, because they are coming in fast, why do you think they're so polarizing?
Well, I think, a lot of it is rooted in envy, and green isn't everyone's color. You're talking about people who have been in the spotlight. There's a disparity and a huge wealth gap. It seems like they aren't exactly understanding what everybody else is going through, although they do take their time and actually spend time in less, let's say, underserved communities and countries. The other thing is the royals have been thrusted upon us for quite some time. It's very hard to go a day without getting an alert about what's happening in the palace, which is very strange to me. But I also think that there's a racial factor here as well. Obviously, we know what our racial components in history are, and we also know about England as well. So people who want to stop and say everything's not about race, no, everything isn't about race, but some things are, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it's admirable what they do philanthropically. Did I say that right?
You nailed that.
I tried to. Anyways, I didn't. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. I think we put too much weight on them, is what I'm trying to say, right? They're out there doing good in the community. We should commend them for that, right? We put all this weight on like they're the go-to face couple. I personally don't. We talk about them a lot. I don't think we need to. I don't find them that interesting as a couple, right? I'm not that into the royal family. I don't know that much about it. I didn't watch The Crown, and people who think they're educated on the royal family, their only education's from The Crown, so relax, like you read a book or something.
Totally.
So, it's just, for me, I don't hate them, but I don't really admire them either. I admire what they do, like I said, philanthropically. Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah, you know what?
Came back.
Jeff, we forget that the British had an empire. They literally have the weight of the world. People really do look to this couple to fill a role. And I think when they didn't fill that role and they decided to act like human beings that weren't happy in the situation, I think people pushed back on that. And I think we're missing the bigger thing is that this is a much cooler princess story. Because, I tried to show my daughter Snow White, and she's like, why is she, or Sleeping Beauty, she's like, why is she on the floor? She's using a calming headspace app. This would be a cool princess story. It's like, we don't like living like this. This is boring. We're going to L.A.
Well, some people have resentment that it doesn't fit into that so-called everyday Cinderella story. But let me read the comments, then we're going to move on. Rhonda says, Prince Harry, if you do not like our First Amendment, go back home. Helen says, perhaps he thinks the freedom of speech should be for hurt and upset royals with daddy issues only. Wow. And Betty says, this couple is always so thirsty for press, it reeks of money grubbing. I tell you what, polarizing for sure. There's also a lot of people supporting them, though, too. Final vote. Are you fans of Prince Harry and Meghan? 55% of you say no. I just don't get it, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Okay.
Can we all agree that Erica looks like the prime minister of a country I want to move to?
Or an ambassador of some sort.
You are radiant
today,
girl.
You look unbelievable, Erica. Please. Yes.
Well, y'all stop. I'll pay you later. Thank you.
As she sips her tea. Okay, so do you all remember that candle that Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop is selling? You know, the one that smells like a certain female body part, okay? Well, now a man in Texas is suing Goop for $5 million. He said he bought the candle back in January, and after lighting it, it became engulfed in flames before exploding and leaving a black burn ring on his nightstand. Now, the company is calling the lawsuit a, quote, frivolous attempt to secure an outsized payout, but what do you think about Gwyneth's candle allegedly exploding like this? You guys know what candle I'm talking about, right? The one about the, you know, the delicate flower, if you will. Right? I don't know. I don't think I can say certain words on daytime TV, even though it's just biology. But, you know, her delicate flower. So what do you think about this?
I don't think we can say that.
Why?
I don't know. That metaphor just takes me somewhere. I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay. Well, what do you think of this story, Jeff?
Well, okay, first let me ask you, because you're the candle expert.
Okay. My husband more so, but yes.
I don't even understand a candle exploding. If you leave a candle on, it explodes?
So, okay. So my husband and I do have a candle company. We've had a candle company for 12 plus years.
Byron & Co.
Thank you. And we have, through organizations as well as ourselves, tested thousands upon thousands upon thousands of candles. And we even called one of our...
So you light them and say, meet back here in 3 hours.
No, you have like a whole system. There's a whole approval. And you can't even use certain fragrances because they could be combustible. So... from our experience, there's no way this could happen. Now, could a vessel, the candle vessel, burn to the point where it's so hot that the glass shatters and engraves a ring on the nightstand? Yes. Could it fall over because the glass shattered and lights up a curtain and your house gets on fire? Yes, but that would have to be, no joke, like 8+ hours of this vessel burning and burning and lighting up that vessel on fire.
Are we still talking about the candle?
It's up to you. It could be a euphemism. It could be the candle.
Erica, what do you think, girl?
I think I'm just checking out my Byron & Co. candles.
Okay, I just feel so... Okay, Erica. Yes, girl.
I mean, they're amazing candles. That's all. I don't know anybody else who makes candles. I've never heard of these people and these candles. These are the only candles I know.
Erica, you and Sam are the only people that have ever been in my house. And Erica, you came before we even had furniture. And Sam, I happened to run into you walking down the street, and you came through. And what was in my living room?
You had a whole fireplace.
Drip candles.
Well, you had our candles, but then you had a whole fireplace full of candles, and I said, let me take those out and then put all of our candles in there.
I need to step my candle game up.
Yeah, but listen, you guys, you know at the bottom of the candle it says don't burn for more than like 2 to 4 hours. You got to listen to that.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's on there. You can't let your candle burn for like 16 hours.
If you're reading the directions on a candle, you have bigger problems.
I thought it just went out.
Yeah, like, stop.
I can't with you guys. It just goes out.
I thought it just burns out. Like it's out of wax and it ends.
You and I are going to have a talk in the break because I do not want to see your beautiful new home catch on fire, because if you go with that mentality, it will, friend. It will.
Yeah.
Coming.
What just happened?
I'm trying to save you.
Turn into a PSA at the end.
It will, friend.
Smoking the Bear over here.
Sam got me off candle wax.
Coming up, Kathy Hilton is opening up to DBL about Paris and her disturbing experience in boarding school so many years ago. Plus, Tom Arnold's family secrets we never knew. His sister's rise to the top of a meth empire and an all-new True Crime Chronicles. And a prominent astrologer is saying J-Lo and A-Rod's breakup was written in the stars. Is romance really determined by the universe? Ooh, that's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, The Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline. It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. So check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. Love your background, Leo. So how seriously do you take astrology?
I don't.
Hold it. Because it looks like the breakup between Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez may have been written in the stars. According to an astrologer, there were signs in A-Rod's chart that the relationship was doomed. She said that the rare placement of his stars is upsetting his chart, making things difficult for him, but that he just needs to let J-Lo go. Meantime, for J-Lo, her stars are in the same place back when they were in 2002, meaning when she was with Ben Affleck. So the astrologer said she isn't surprised that the two may have rekindled their romance. Okay, so I'm going to start with Erica, because Erica and I have had really deep conversations about astrology, right, Erica? So you believe in this.
Oh, absolutely. Astrology, numerology, I mean, all the ologies. I'm down with it. Because, I mean, honestly, I wasn't until probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and someone took me to a person, and they read my chart, and she has been on about everything. Contracts, how things change and shift in relationships, all sorts of things. And I think a lot of things are things we don't necessarily understand. And that doesn't mean that they don't exist or that they're silly.
Erica, really quickly, before she jumps in, are you talking about the woman that predicted my brother-in-law's double lung transplant date 3 months before? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's good to know that Erica has an astrologer that dabbles in contract law. Honestly, Erica, I don't believe that there are people that have superpowers, especially this person that chimed in a week and a half later. Is that like a Groupon astrologist that tells you something that's already happened? They already broke up, and then she's like, I predicted I knew they were going to do that. How come my guidance counselor didn't tell me about this gig?
Oh. Just because they're just talking about it now doesn't mean that it wasn't out there. I mean, I simply think that we are so closed and there's so little that we actually know that we just are ignorant of. I feel like, you know, my former attorney, who's no longer with me, read my charts and did my contracts. So yeah, I do believe that those things come together, and they've come together in a way that I feel great about.
She gotcha.
I'm just saying, Jeff, I have an astrologer too, and he told me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. He just told me today. They won a couple months ago, but I mean, he hit it out of the park.
Jeff, where do you fall in this?
I don't know. I'm a little weary of astrologers and reading palms, but I am big on manifesting your own thoughts and beliefs. So if an astrologer tells you something positive, I believe your mind will go there. If the astrologer pulls out some cards and you get one of those death cards, I believe your mind goes there and you're a little bit more worried and cautious about your surroundings. So I think, you know, as long as you have a positive astrologer, I'm all for it.
They don't pull the death card out until your account runs out.
Okay. stop it. You think you're more into self-fulfilling prophecies.
Absolutely.
Which makes a lot of sense. I'm with you, Erica. Listen, there's been too many things that do not make sense, do not add up, too many predictions that have been accurate. By reading my chart, that there is something that we may not be able to explain.
But it's a generalization, though.
It's not. Erica and I have both been told.
Jeez, okay, it's not.
Erica, have you and I both been told specific dates?
Specifics down to the date. Like, I didn't even know that DBL was coming, and she told me when I was going to book it.
Okay.
Just things that you just cannot explain.
Did you have someone in your past that may have passed away? Did you have an animal that you connected with when you were a child? Okay,
Did you?
I'm done. We're out of time.
I believed you for a second. I almost leapt out of my seat.
But that's what I'm saying. It's generalizations.
No, not the people that.
No, because nobody had anyone who died before.
Because it's really hard to get appointments.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need you guys clogging up her calendar. Coming up on DBL,
She'll know when I'm calling.
The cast of Friends is building us all up for their upcoming reunion. Wait till you see the all-new trailer. And the newest Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Kathy Hilton, is here. She's talking reality TV and her daughter Paris coming up next.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. Another Hilton family member is coming to reality TV. The family's matriarch, Kathy Hilton, is joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we got her to serve up some exclusive tea. Earlier, she shared some of the drama expected to unfold this season. Plus, she talked about the documentary that shook her family. Check it out.
The Hilton family isn't one to shy away from the spotlight. Let's be honest. Paris was a reality star before there was such a thing.
This one's cute. I'll get this one too. My mom's credit card on file here.
But last year, during her documentary, a never-before-seen side of the Hilton heiress, after she shared stories of abuse that she suffered at her boarding school.
Something happened in my childhood that I've never talked about with anyone, but I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I would get punished by them. I still have nightmares about it.
But when did the rest of the Hilton family find out about these shocking revelations? The family's matriarch, Kathy, told us the moment her life changed.
When were you first made aware of this abuse?
Right when we were filming that documentary.
Wow.
Which my heart almost stopped. And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me. I don't think I've been the same since that. I've never watched, I've seen the trailers. I've never been able to watch that. I got into such a depression
Kathy also reveals her family wasn't the only one impacted by the abuse.
And it's interesting, after it came out, several friends of mine, 2, their children went to that school. And this was something we didn't talk about. So when people started opening up to me, their children never said anything either. And that was shocking, because I'm the kind of mother, you can tell me anything.
Being an open book works well in reality TV.
Kathy Hilton's here!
That's why Kathy is taking the plunge and joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But what does her famous family think?
When Paris found out that I was doing the show, the housewife, she was disgusted.
No.
Did not. Both my daughters were like, because they said, oh, I was being shady. I was. I then kind of avoided them because I knew they would not be pleased. Now they're fine with it.
What did your sisters Kyle and Kim have to say about you being on the show?
Well, Kyle, as I told you, she really wanted me to do it, which really made me feel very good, because Kyle and I have had our share of problems.
On Housewives, the newbie never knows where to stand with the cast. So what were Kathy's first impressions of the ladies from Beverly Hills?
They all serve up drama. They are drama queens. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I love them. But these girls get very passionate about what they like, what they don't like. And they go on and on and on and on and on. They can switch like that.
When it comes to reality TV, all viewers want to know is, how real is it? According to Kathy, what you see is what you get.
I have never seen anybody be asked or whispered to say anything or to do anything. So it is, they let the cameras roll. We could go on yakking for 2 and 3 hours till 1 a.m. And those camera people, you forget they're there. They end up blending into the walls.
Right. Wow.
And that's where you get really good TV.
So overall, how did this rookie's first season go?
The whole experience for me was great. Now I just got to wait and see, as they say, how I'm edited.
Oh.
Kathy, shut up.
Oh, I can't wait. If you want to see how Kathy is shaking up the Beverly Hills Housewife cast, tune into the season 12 premiere tonight on Bravo. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Tomorrow on DBL, a week of your favorite sitcom stars of the 90s continues with Karen Parsons from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's talking life after the show. And from Bones and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tamara Taylor. She's co-starring in the new spin-off Law & Order Organized Crime. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Ooh, I love them both.
I loved her hat.
I know, so cute. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. They called her the Queen of Meth, Tom Arnold's own sister at the top of a criminal enterprise, the surprising details in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, Broadway and TV star Billy Porter is opening up about a medical diagnosis that changed his life more than a decade ago. And check out our coworkers at home during the pandemic, working very hard. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home in her fabulous outfit. I mean, we just can't get over it. We are getting a first look at next week's Big Friends reunion. James Corden will host the special on HBO Max on May 27th. Have a look.
Wow. Does Courtney still have her lines written on the table?
We've literally just slipped right back.
We regress.
We have such a bond from this show.
Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
Yes.
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 Oh my gosh, the cast is also on the cover of People magazine. David Schwimmer revealed that since the show ended 17 years ago, all 6 of them had only met up once, but the cast says their bond has always remained strong. Watch.
When we do get together, it's like no time has passed. I mean, I think everybody sort of has a relationship like that in their life. We get together and it's like you pick up right where we left off.
We're connected no matter what. No matter what. Till death do us part. That's true. Very true.
Really,
Like siblings.
very supportive. There's
Very sexual.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my 90s comfort nostalgic Sam is jumping up and down right now. I didn't realize how much comfort that would bring me until I saw them all together. I'm surprised.
Before Al dives in and gets us both, I'm going to tell you, I watched the trailer. I was excited too, because I didn't know how much that was a part of my life. Ross, I'm already calling their characters. David Schwimmer comes out and the armadillo. I'm like, oh, the holiday armadillo episode. And you start reliving like these episodes. I love seeing behind the scenes things. I love seeing like what they were doing when they read the script for the first time, where their careers were. Anything behind the scenes Hollywood I love, and I feel like this is what that special is going to bring. So I am on board. Al, take it away.
I am not. Look, I have very little to say. Eric, I want to hear from you. I didn't watch Friends ever. I don't know who any of these people are, but it seemed like it was comfort food, and especially I think it brings you back to a time when there was appointment television, because if you missed it, you missed it, and there was like a social currency in like being able to discuss the episode, so you had to be there to watch, so people at parties. So I'm here for it. I don't know what it is.
Erica, did you watch it?
I did watch it, and I really appreciate the way that Al just described it, because, you know, there are people who are like Al and they're indifferent. Some people are like, no, we don't need this, and other people are really craving this. I'm definitely someone who doesn't believe in the reboot, so when this was fodder, you know, a year or so ago, I was like, is it necessary to bring these things back? But after watching the trailer and seeing how they approached it, Jeff's right. Like, it brought me back to a time in my life and this sense of nostalgia, but it also made me very aware and appreciative of what's happening in the present. Because anytime I see these ensembles come together and they talk about their journey, I think about us and how we started and our journeys. Wow. And that's something that is so special, and not many people get the opportunity to really come together in that way when there's nothing, like not even a studio. So I just thought it was just a really great moment to watch that trailer.
Before we move on, because you were a big fan, what did you make of them? Some of them look recognizably a lot older.
Right.
And that's not disrespect.
Not at all. And you know why I think that's the first thing people notice? Because they're watching reruns on their television right now.
Oh, so they just stay
saw
that age.
Matt LeBlanc yesterday, who was 22, and now they see that and they're like, wow, Matt looks different. So I think saying that is not a dig at them. People get older. We get older. When you see me 10 years ago, you're like, what happened to that Jeff guy?
Yeah.
That's me.
You're still a beautiful man.
You know, I had the Rachel back in sophomore year of high school. I got the Rachel. Do you guys remember that haircut?
You should break it back out.
I probably
bring it back. It's been 20. Don't they say every 20 years?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my hairstylist about it. Okay, so switching gears here. Billy Porter has revealed he has secretly lived with being HIV positive for 14 years. He told The Hollywood Reporter he did his diagnosis for so long, or hid rather, out of shame. Watch.
My childhood was fraught with a lot of religious shaming. Growing up in the Pentecostal church, I was shamed for my behavior, for my attributes, from the minute I could comprehend thought, and, you know, told I would never be blessed, and told that AIDS was God's punishment for gays.
Wow. Billy said he was able to work through a lot of that shame thanks to his character on Pose, who is also HIV positive. He also recently told his mother, who told him that she loves him no matter what. This breaks my heart, because there is so much still 30 years later, even though being HIV positive is not a death sentence or even the same disease that it was 30 years ago. I mean, people that are HIV positive can be, and they're undetectable, can't spread it. You can take a pill to prevent it. So it makes me sad that Erica, there's so much still stigma, shame, misinformation attached to this diagnosis that it's crushing people. I mean, he just recently told his mother.
Oh, that is not surprising at all. I mean, think about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. That was the genesis for really stereotyping a community that was already under attack, that was already considered like socially, pariahs. So the idea that someone would contract the disease that people were preying on to them in terms of AIDS, of course he's not going to share that. But Pose on FX, the show that he stars on, if you're somebody who is even a little flexible and you're thinking this isn't even your thing, I would suggest you watch it because it really shows the evolution of the LGBTQ plus community through the 80s, what things were like, how our country and our government really was not a support, in fact, an enemy. It's just, it's so beautifully done, and I'm glad that he found his voice through his character because I know he's helping so many people right now.
Yeah, and Erica, I'll just say that, we're talking about him and like his message that he's giving to the world, but we never think about Billy and like what he's being able, just imagine being able to take that off, take that raincoat of just like all the shame that was heaped on him unfairly and just kind of remove all that, say this is who I am, and then everybody is just like, yeah, we love you.
Yeah, but so but that's where this is where I'm confused because you do see some shame here, right? I can't imagine what he must be feeling. But there has been 30 years of progress, and I get, believe me, the stigma and everything surrounding the AIDS epidemic and how this already marginalized community were completely preyed upon. I get that. How in 30 years are people still holding on to outdated misinformation associated with being HIV? I don't even think people, if you were to go down on the street, people would know that it's not a death sentence anymore.
Well, I think the biggest example of that is Magic Johnson, right? I think we saw Magic live through this. But I was just talk about ignorance. I'll point to myself first and foremost. I was talking to one of our producers, Michael Dean, over there. I did not know that someone with AIDS,
HIV
positive, you could take some pills and almost use that, and definitely use that as a prophylactic against the AIDS. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I'm ignorant in that sense. But when we talk about representation all the time on this show, it comes in all forms, shapes, colors, stigmas, whatever it may be.
Diagnoses.
You have to talk about that, right? So I didn't know, had it not been for Billy in this story, I wouldn't have talked to my producer in just a casual conversation, and I would not have known that. So that's why representation is so important.
But now your sons are going to know that.
Absolutely.
And that's how these kind of stigmas go away. In another couple of years, people will know a lot more. So I'm excited about the younger generation.
Amen. Well said, Jeff. Okay,
so not me, just right over my head. Cool.
And she told Erica she looks really great
right
twice.
over the two pieces of glass. Like, I don't want to.
I can't.
Al, I like your pen, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And I love you as a person inside.
Do you see how that works, Sam? Well, build your co-host up.
Coming up on DBL. Okay, this is an important story, everybody. She is dubbed the Queen of Meth. Tom Arnold's sister was running a drug ring while he was making it big in Hollywood. The family drama and true crime chronicles. And our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. Happy Hump Day, you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Not every.
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, The Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline. It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. Lori Arnold ran one of the biggest meth empires in the 90s. After being caught and serving time, she's finally sharing her story alongside her famous brother, Tom Arnold. The two kept their past a secret until now. Here's the remarkable story on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
My name is Lori Arnold. I'm a material technician. The money I make a week, I used to make that in a few minutes.
Lori Arnold was one of America's most infamous and unexpected drug lords.
So easy to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was too easy.
She turned addiction into an enterprise, which stemmed from a trauma-filled childhood. She and her brother Tom grew up in Ottumwa, Iowa, in an unstable family.
First time I took speed, I was 14, and it was with my mom.
Their mother got Lori hooked early and would offer her up to older men.
She served my sister up, her daughter, to a rapist and a serial pedophile. She said, here he is. And that's beyond bad judgment. That was a big deal. It really set the tone for me versus my mom. I mean, openly hostile from that point on.
Tom needed to escape that environment, so he moved to California to pursue writing and comedy. He went on to star in Roseanne, The Jackie Thomas Show, and more. Meanwhile, back home, Lori was running a sprawling multi-state meth empire.
Decided I was gonna do something. Even if it's wrong, I'm gonna do something to take care of myself.
She began using, dealing, and supplying to her hometown and beyond.
We decided to cook our own on our property so we wouldn't have to drive to California, to get it. So I ended up hiring my own chemist to order a whole meth lab out of a catalog.
Her lab was producing between 10 to 20 pounds of meth a week.
We would order P2P, which came in 55-gallon drums from Albuquerque. And that makes the real methamphetamine. That is the Breaking Bad methamphetamine.
Each week, she raked in at least $200,000.
Lori always had a lot of friends. But I'll tell you, when she was selling drugs, she was extremely popular.
Their economically depressed hometown suddenly became a booming meth empire.
The first time I tried it, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, so I want my friends to share it with me. It wasn't like, I want to go get everybody addicted and ruin their lives.
Her reign lasted about 6 years.
She became a big-time drug dealer and ended up in prison. Well, right.
In 1989, the queen of meth was caught after the FBI had been following her for years. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Because there's just some that mothers don't do.
Well, yeah, what she did was wrong.
No, she ruined your life.
Well,
she ruined your life.
I forgave that.
Lori was released early in 1999, only to fall back into the drug game again. After being arrested and serving time again, she was released in 2008.
I'm standing here strong because of what I went through. I don't know. I'll always be remembered as the queen of meth.
Wow. Earlier, Alan Torrey spoke with Lori's brother, actor Tom Arnold. Take a look. We are here with Tom Arnold. Thank you, Tom, for coming on DBL. Now, Tom, most people know you as an actor and comedian, but what they don't know is that you and your sister Lori had a really difficult and very secret past. So if you can Wayne's World us back in time to your childhood, you're in Iowa. What was that like watching your mother expose your little sister to drugs and the complete opposite of sort of a normal childhood?
It wasn't good. I think that our mother left when I was 4, and my sister was 3. I knew our mother was not a mother. But when I was 15, I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted to drink. I wanted no adult supervision. So I moved in with her. And unfortunately, my sister followed. My sister, who worshiped her. And she was 14, and the first drug she ever did was with our mother. They were bar buddies. They went out one night. They met a guy that's 23. And my mother drove my sister, 14-year-old sister, and this serial pedophile to Missouri and made them get married. And I just knew her life is over. You just screwed up your daughter's life. And that's really what happened. The guy beat her. She eventually left him. I went to get her is what happened. And then she met another guy that was the captain of the Grim Reaper motorcycle gang, married him at 18. And they were already involved with drugs. And my sister's very smart. She was great at school before she left. And she said, well, let's make this a real business.
Oh, wow.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
Wow.
Let's move forward to the 90s where you blew. I mean, you blew up. You starred in big gigs like Roseanne, which was maybe the biggest show of the 90s or one of them, and the Jackie Thomas Show. Meanwhile, your sister began running this massive empire. So just where do you see the split that you guys went down these different paths?
Well, in 1988, I moved to Los Angeles to write the Roseanne Show. You know, I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm in recovery, but I am that guy too. And I just knew after a year in Los Angeles, I can't keep doing this. I always had a dream, and I don't know if you call it God, but there was always some voice in my head that said, you could do better than this. Wow. There is something out there. If you get it together, there is something out there. So I just believed that. As crazy it is, I just thought, yeah, there is something outside of here. My dream is not here. It's outside of here, and I'm lucky that I got out.
What's your relationship with your sister like right now? I'm fascinated to know if you guys are getting along. How do you guys deal with each other?
You know, she is my little sister, and there's a lot of pictures of us growing up, and we've always had that relationship. I always thought I was like a parent to her, which I'm sure got very annoying because we're a year and a half apart. It's good. You know, the first time she got arrested, I was so sad. I was out in Los Angeles. I got a call from one of the feds. He said, there's nothing you can do. This is what happened. I was just terribly, terribly sad. They wanted to send her to prison for life, and I helped her get a good lawyer. They got that cut down. But the second time, after she'd been in prison for 8.5 years and went back there and started doing it again, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very angry. And I even warned her, they know you're dealing. If you stop today, they won't arrest you. And she's like, mind your own blank business.
Wow.
But I'm very proud of her now. She's living an honest life. She was honest in this documentary series. She got confronted by her son. She got confronted by other people. And I'm very proud of the life she's living now.
Wow, that's amazing. You can learn more about Lori's story. Watch the brand new documentary, Queen of Meth. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, brother.
We really do. Thanks again. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it's shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So scammers are taking advantage of the warmer weather to cheat you out of your hard-earned money. Beware of these home utility scams. So first, the power shutoff scam. Con artists will pose as electric company employees, telling you they'll turn off your power if you don't pay. Related to that, watch out for utility imposters. They also pretend to be with the water or electric company just so they can get into your house and steal stuff. Finally, be cautious of overpayment scams. The scammer will say you paid too much on your utility bill and ask you to sign a form to get the refund. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. So they full on dress up in the garb and knock on your door? Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, they're trying to steal money. While you're at work all day, while our viewers are thinking about their lives, there are people that are spending that much time and figuring out how to steal from you. So be careful. Just know that like a worker would never talk to you about billing. There's a whole other section for that. So anybody at your house wouldn't be talking to you about your bill. That's not their business.
Nor are they just going to come knock on your door.
No.
Unannounced.
Right, but we got to come in and fix. Well, actually, if they're like, we got to come in and fix the
boiler?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I guess so.
That's honest.
You know what I mean? That's honest. Well, now you learn.
That's how people feel. That's how they get over.
Come try it.
Yeah. Bring it.
Watch out. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Erica's back. You got some comments for us?
I do, about Harry and Meghan. Arla says, Harry is the product of two incredible human beings, as is Meghan. Stop being so judgy. Where Denise says, my opinion is Meghan is a narcissist and narcissism is polarizing. On the Friends reunion, Vanessa says, I'm so excited for the Friends reunion. So many memories. Where Dale says, love the nostalgic feels I'm getting from that trailer.
Stop being so judgy on an opinionated talk show.
Exactly.
Everything is just like, yeah, that seems good.
Erica, really quickly, are you going to go out afterwards in that fabulous outfit? You better. I guess not. Have a good day, everybody.
What we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
3 years ago, Harry and Meghan's wedding captivated the world. Love them or hate them, why are they so polarizing? In today's True Crime Chronicles, Tom Arnold talks about his sister's dark drug-dealing past as the queen of meth.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
The Friends cast gets together ahead of their big reunion special.
No matter what, till death do us part. That's true.
And Kathy Hilton opens up about Paris's shocking abuse at boarding school.
And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, May 19th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home looking fabulous. Wowza. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with Harry and Meghan because of the fact that it's their 3-year anniversary. But this couple, I would say, more polarizing than any other couple in the world. And boy, have they had a rough 3 years. So it all started with this huge storybook wedding, right? Costing a reported $45 million. Nearly 30 million Americans tuned in to watch. Since then, they've now left the royal family and are living in California. They also did that bombshell interview that we talked about with Oprah, right? Making a number of serious allegations against the royal family, which has divided the public. And now even some Americans like Sean Hannity are upset with the couple, specifically Prince Harry, for what he said recently about the First Amendment being, quote, bonkers. Take a listen.
Harry, we really don't need you coming from England to give us lectures on the First Amendment. And if you can't understand the importance of free expression and the importance of constitutional principles that allow for a free exchange of ideas and ideals and opinions that have made America the greatest country on earth, then maybe it's time for you to move to a place more compatible with your restrictive ideas.
And he is not alone. Let me tell you, we are getting in comments left and right, and I will share those comments. But before, what do you think about this couple? And why do you think they're so polarizing? Are you a fan? Go to dblvote.com. Tell us what you think. Erica, before I read some of these comments, because they are coming in fast, why do you think they're so polarizing?
Well, I think, a lot of it is rooted in envy, and green isn't everyone's color. You're talking about people who have been in the spotlight. There's a disparity and a huge wealth gap. It seems like they aren't exactly understanding what everybody else is going through, although they do take their time and actually spend time in less, let's say, underserved communities and countries. The other thing is the royals have been thrusted upon us for quite some time. It's very hard to go a day without getting an alert about what's happening in the palace, which is very strange to me. But I also think that there's a racial factor here as well. Obviously, we know what our racial components in history are, and we also know about England as well. So people who want to stop and say everything's not about race, no, everything isn't about race, but some things are, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it's admirable what they do philanthropically. Did I say that right?
You nailed that.
I tried to. Anyways, I didn't. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. I think we put too much weight on them, is what I'm trying to say, right? They're out there doing good in the community. We should commend them for that, right? We put all this weight on like they're the go-to face couple. I personally don't. We talk about them a lot. I don't think we need to. I don't find them that interesting as a couple, right? I'm not that into the royal family. I don't know that much about it. I didn't watch The Crown, and people who think they're educated on the royal family, their only education's from The Crown, so relax, like you read a book or something.
Totally.
So, it's just, for me, I don't hate them, but I don't really admire them either. I admire what they do, like I said, philanthropically, but that's it.
Yeah, you know what?
Came back.
Jeff, we forget that the British had an empire. They literally have the weight of the world. People really do look to this couple to fill a role, and I think when they didn't fill that role and they decided to act like human beings that weren't happy in the situation, I think people pushed back on that, and I think we're missing the bigger thing is that this is a much cooler princess story. Because, I tried to show my daughter Snow White, and she's like, why is she, or Sleeping Beauty, she's like, why is she on the floor? She's using a calming headspace app. This would be a cool princess story. It's like, we don't like living like this. This is boring. We're going to L.A.
Well, some people have resentment that it doesn't fit into that so-called everyday Cinderella story. But let me read the comments, then we're going to move on. Rhonda says, Prince Harry, if you do not like our First Amendment, go back home. Helen says, perhaps he thinks the freedom of speech should be for hurt and upset royals with daddy issues only. Wow. And Betty says, this couple is always so thirsty for press, it reeks of money grubbing. I tell you what, polarizing for sure. There's also a lot of people supporting them, though, too. Final vote. Are you fans of Prince Harry and Meghan? 55% of you say no. I just don't get it, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Okay.
Can we all agree that Erica looks like the prime minister of a country I want to move to?
Or an ambassador of some sort.
You look, you are radiant
today,
You look
unbelievable,
girl.
Erica. Please. Yes.
Well, y'all stop. I'll pay you later. Thank you.
She sips her tea. Okay, so do you all remember that candle that Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop is selling? You know, the one that smells like a certain female body part, okay? Well, now a man in Texas is suing Goop for $5 million. He said he bought the candle back in January, and after lighting it, it became engulfed in flames before exploding and leaving a black burn ring on his nightstand. Now, the company is calling the lawsuit a, quote, frivolous attempt to secure an outsized payout. But what do you think about Gwyneth's candle allegedly exploding like this? You guys know what candle I'm talking about, right? The one about the, the delicate flower, if you will. right? I don't know. I don't think I can say certain words on daytime TV, even though it's just biology. But you know, her delicate flower. So what do you think about this?
I don't think we can say that.
Why?
I don't know. That metaphor just takes me somewhere. I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay. Well, what do you think of this story, Jeff?
Well, okay, first let me ask you, because you're the candle expert.
Okay, my husband more so, but yes.
What? I don't even understand a candle exploding. If you leave a candle on, it explodes?
So, okay, so my husband and I do have a candle company. We've had a candle company for 12 plus years.
Byron & Co.
Thank you. And we have, through organizations as well as ourselves, tested thousands upon thousands upon thousands of candles. And we even called one of our...
So you light them and say, meet back here in 3 hours.
No, you have like a whole system. There's a whole approval. And you can't even use certain fragrances because they could be combustible. So from our experience, there's no way this could happen. Now, could a vessel, the candle vessel, burn to the point where it's so hot that the glass shatters and engraves a ring on the nightstand? Yes. Could it fall over because the glass shattered and lights up a curtain and your house gets on fire? Yes, but that would have to be, no joke, like 8+ hours of this vessel burning and burning and lighting up that vessel on fire.
Are we still talking about the candle?
It's up to you. It could be a euphemism. It could be the candle.
Erica, what do you think, girl?
I think I'm just checking out my Byron & Co. candles.
Okay, I just feel so... Okay, Erica. Yes, girl.
I mean, they're amazing candles. That's all. I don't know anybody else who makes candles. I've never heard of these people and these candles. These are the only candles I know.
Erica, you and Sam are the only people that have ever been in my house. And Erica, you came before we even had furniture. And Sam, I happened to run into you walking down the street, and you came through. And what was in my living room?
You had a whole
drip
fireplace.
candles.
Well, you had our candles, but then you had a whole fireplace full of candles, and I said, let me take those out and then put all of our candles in there.
I need to step my candle game up.
Yeah, but listen, you guys, you know at the bottom of the candle it says don't burn for more than like 2 to 4 hours. You got to listen to that.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's on there. You can't let your candle burn for like 16 hours.
If you're reading the directions on a candle, you have bigger problems.
I thought it just went out.
Yeah, like, stop.
I can't with you guys. It just goes out.
I thought it just burns out. Like it's out of wax and it ends.
You and I are going to have a talk in the break because I do not want to see your beautiful new home catch on fire, because if you go with that mentality, it will, friend. It will.
Yeah.
Come in.
That was happened.
I'm trying to save you.
Turn into a PSA at the end.
It will, friend.
Smoking the Bear over here.
Sam got me off candle wax.
Coming up, Kathy Hilton is opening up to DBL about Paris and her disturbing experience in boarding school so many years ago. Plus, Tom Arnold's family secrets we never knew, his sister's rise to the top of a meth empire, and an all-new True Crime Chronicles. And a prominent astrologer is saying J-Lo and A-Rod's breakup was written in the stars. Is romance really determined by the universe? Ooh, that's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, the Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline, It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. So check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. Love your background, Leo. So how seriously do you take astrology?
Because I don't.
Hold it. Because it looks like the breakup between Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez may have been written in the stars. According to an astrologer, there were signs in A-Rod's chart that the relationship was doomed. She said that the rare placement of his stars is upsetting his chart, making things difficult for him, but that he just needs to let J-Lo go. Meantime, for J-Lo, her stars are in the same place back when they were in 2002, meaning when she was with Ben Affleck. So the astrologer said she isn't surprised that the two may have rekindled their romance. Okay, so I'm going to start with Erica, because Erica and I have had really deep conversations about astrology, right, Erica? So you believe in this.
Oh, absolutely. Astrology, numerology, I mean, all the ologies. I'm down with it. Because, I mean, honestly, I wasn't until probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and someone took me to a person, and they read my chart, and she has been on about everything. Contracts, how things change and shift in relationships, all sorts of things. And I think a lot of things are things we don't necessarily understand. And that doesn't mean that they don't exist or that they're silly.
Erica, really quickly, before she jumps in, are you talking about the woman that predicted my brother-in-law's double lung transplant date 3 months before? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's good to know that Erica has an astrologer that dabbles in contract law. Honestly, Erica, I don't believe that there are people that have superpowers, especially this person that chimed in a week and a half later. Is that like a Groupon astrologist that tells you something that's already happened? They already broke up, and then she's like, I predicted I knew they were going to do that. How come my guidance counselor didn't tell me about this gig?
Oh.
Just because they're just talking about it now doesn't mean that it wasn't out there. I mean, I simply think that we are so closed and there's so little that we actually know that we just are ignorant of. I feel like, you know, my former attorney, who's no longer with me, read my charts and did my contracts. So yeah, I do believe that those things come together, and they've come together in a way that I feel great about.
She gotcha.
I'm just, Jeff, I have an astrologer too, and he told me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. He just told me today. They won a couple months ago, but I mean, he hit it out of the park.
Jeff, where do you fall in this?
I don't know. I'm a little weary of astrologers and reading palms, but I am big on manifesting your own thoughts and beliefs. So if an astrologer tells you something positive, I believe your mind will go there. If the astrologer pulls out some cards and you get one of those death cards, I believe your mind goes there and you're a little bit more worried and cautious about your surroundings. So I think, you know, as long as you have a positive astrologer, I'm all for it.
They don't pull the death card out until your account runs out.
Okay, stop it. You think you're more into self-fulfilling prophecies.
Absolutely.
Which makes a lot of sense. I'm with you, Erica. Listen, there's been too many things that do not make sense, do not add up, too many predictions that have been accurate. By reading my chart, that there is something that we may not be able to explain.
But it's a generalization, though.
It's not. Erica and I have both been told.
Jeez, okay, it's not.
Erica, have you and I both been told specific dates
specifics down to the date. Like, I didn't even know that DBL was coming, and she told me when I was going to book it.
Okay.
Just things that you just cannot explain.
Did you have someone in your past that may have passed away? Did you have an animal that you connected with when you were a child? Okay,
did you?
I'm done. We're out of time.
I believed you for a second. I almost leapt out of my seat.
But that's what I'm saying. It's generalizations.
No, not the people that.
Yeah, because nobody had anyone who died before.
Because it's really hard to get appointments.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need you guys clogging up her calendar. Coming up on DBL,
She'll know when I'm calling.
The cast of Friends is building us all up for their upcoming reunion. Wait till you see the all-new trailer. And the newest Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Kathy Hilton, is here. She's talking reality TV and her daughter Paris coming up next.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. Another Hilton family member is coming to reality TV. The family's matriarch, Kathy Hilton, is joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we got her to serve up some exclusive tea. Earlier, she shared some of the drama expected to unfold this season. Plus, she talked about the documentary that shook her family. Check it out.
The Hilton family isn't one to shy away from the spotlight. Let's be honest. Paris was a reality star before there was such a thing.
This one's cute. I'll get this one too. My mom's credit card on file here.
But last year, during her documentary, a never-before-seen side of the Hilton heiress, after she shared stories of abuse that she suffered at her boarding school.
Something happened in my childhood that I've never talked about with anyone, but I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I would get punished by them. I still have nightmares about it.
But when did the rest of the Hilton family find out about these shocking revelations? The family's matriarch, Kathy, told us the moment her life changed.
When were you first made aware of this abuse?
Right when we were filming that documentary.
Wow.
Which my heart almost stopped. And it just shocked me that she wouldn't have said something to me. I don't think I've done the same since that. I've never watched, I've seen the trailers. I've never been able to watch that. I got into such a depression.
Kathy also reveals her family wasn't the only one impacted by the abuse.
And it's interesting, after it came out, several friends of mine, their children went to that school. And this was something we didn't talk about. So when people started opening up to me, their children never said anything either. And that was shocking because I'm the kind of mother you can tell me anything.
Being an open book works well in reality TV.
Kathy Hilton's here!
That's why Kathy is taking the plunge and joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But what does her famous family think?
When Paris found out that I was doing the show, the housewife, she was disgusted.
No.
Did not. Both my daughters were like, because they said, oh, I was being shady. I was. I then kind of avoided them because I knew they would not be pleased. Now they're fine with it.
What did your sisters Kyle and Kim have to say about you being on the show?
Well, Kyle, as I told you, she really wanted me to do it, which really made me feel very good because Kyle and I have had our share of problems.
On Housewives, the newbie never knows where to stand with the cast. So what were Kathy's first impressions of the ladies from Beverly Hills?
They all serve up drama. They are drama queens. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I love them. But these girls get very passionate about what they like, what they don't like. And they go on and on and on and on and on. They can switch like that.
When it comes to reality TV, all viewers want to know is, how real is it? According to Kathy, what you see is what you get.
I have never seen anybody be asked or whispered to say anything or to do anything. So it is, they let the cameras roll. We could go on yakking for 2 and 3 hours till 1 a.m. And those camera people, you forget they're there. They end up blending into the walls.
Right.
Wow.
And that's where you get really good TV.
So overall, how did this rookie's first season go?
The whole experience for me was great. Now I just got to wait and see, as they say, how I'm edited.
Oh.
Kathy, shut up.
Oh, I can't wait. If you want to see how Kathy is shaking up the Beverly Hills housewife cast, tune into the season 12 premiere tonight on Bravo. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
A week of your favorite sitcom stars of the 90s continues with Karen Parsons from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's talking life after the show. And from Bones and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tamara Taylor. She's co-starring in the new spin-off Law & Order Organized Crime. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Ooh, I love them both.
I loved her hat.
I know, so cute. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. They called her the Queen of Meth, Tom Arnold's own sister at the top of a criminal enterprise. The surprising details in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, Broadway and TV star Billy Porter is opening up about a medical diagnosis that changed his life more than a decade ago. And check out our coworkers at home during the pandemic, working very hard. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home in her fabulous outfit. I mean, we just can't get over it. We're getting a first look at next week's Big Friends reunion. James Corden will host the special on HBO Max on May 27th. Have a look.
Wow. Does Courtney still have her lines written on the table?
We've literally just slipped right back.
We regret.
We have such a bond from this show.
Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh, the cast is also on the cover of People magazine. David Schwimmer revealed that since the show ended 17 years ago, all 6 of them had only met up once, but the cast says their bond has always remained strong. Watch.
When we do get together, It's like no time has passed. I mean, I think everybody sort of has a relationship like that in their life. We get together and it's like you pick up right where we left off.
We're connected no matter what. No matter what. Till death do us part. That's true. Very true.
Really,
like siblings.
Very supportive. There's
very sexual.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my 90s comfort nostalgic Sam is jumping up and down right now. I didn't realize how much comfort that would bring me until I saw them all together. I'm surprised.
Before Al dives in and gets us both, I'm going to tell you, I watched the trailer. I was excited too, because I didn't know how much that was a part of my life. Ross, I'm already calling their characters. David Schwimmer comes out and the armadillo. I'm like, oh, the holiday armadillo episode. And you start reliving like these episodes. I love seeing behind the scenes things. I love seeing like what they were doing when they read the script for the first time, where their careers were. Anything behind the scenes Hollywood I love, and I feel like this is what that special is going to bring. So I am on board. Al, take it away.
I have very little to say. Eric, I want to hear from you. I didn't watch Friends ever. I don't know who any of these people are, but it seemed like it was comfort food, and especially I think it brings you back to a time when there was appointment television, because if you missed it, you missed it, and there was like a social currency in like being able to discuss the episode, so you had to be there to watch, so people had parties. So I'm here for it. I don't know what it is.
Erica, did you watch it?
I did watch it, and I really appreciate the way that Al just described it, because, you know, there are people who are like Al and they're indifferent. Some people are like, no, we don't need this, and other people are really craving this. I'm definitely someone who doesn't believe in the reboot, so when this was fodder, you know, a year or so ago, I was like, is it necessary to bring these things back? But after watching the trailer and seeing how they approached it, Jeff's right. Like, it brought me back to a time in my life and this sense of nostalgia, but it also made me very aware and appreciative of what's happening in the present. Because anytime I see these ensembles come together and they talk about their journey, I think about us and how we started and our journeys. Wow. And that's something that is so special, and not many people get the opportunity to really come together in that way when there's nothing, like not even a studio. So I just thought it was just a really great moment to watch that trailer.
Before we move on, because you were a big fan, what did you make of them? Some of them look recognizably a lot older.
Right.
And that's not disrespect.
Not at all. And you know why I think that's the first thing people notice? Because they're watching reruns on their television right now.
Oh, so they just
saw
that age.
Matt LeBlanc yesterday, who was 22, and now they see that and they're like, wow, Matt looks different. So I think saying that is not a dig at them. People get older. We get older. When you see me 10 years ago, you're like, what happened to that Jeff guy?
Yeah.
That's me.
You're still a beautiful man.
You know, I had the Rachel back in sophomore year of high school. I got the Rachel. Do you guys remember that haircut?
You should break it back out.
I probably
bring it back. It's been 20. Don't they say every 20 years?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my hairstylist about it. Okay, so switching gears here. Billy Porter has revealed he has secretly lived with being HIV positive for 14 years. He told The Hollywood Reporter he did his diagnosis for so long, or hid rather, out of shame. Watch.
My childhood was fraught with a lot of religious shaming. Growing up in the Pentecostal church, I was shamed for my behavior, for my attributes, from the minute I could comprehend thought, and, you know, told I would never be blessed, and told that AIDS was God's punishment for gays.
Wow, Billy said he was able to work through a lot of that shame thanks to his character on Pose, who is also HIV positive. He also recently told his mother, who told him that she loves him no matter what. This breaks my heart, because there is so much still, 30 years later, even though being HIV positive is not a death sentence or even the same disease that it was 30 years ago. I mean, people that are HIV positive can be, and they're undetectable, can't spread it. You can take a pill to prevent it. So it makes me sad that, Erica, there's so much still stigma, shame, misinformation attached to this diagnosis that it's crushing people. I mean, he just recently told his mother.
Oh, that is not surprising at all. I mean, think about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. That was the genesis for really stereotyping a community that was already under attack, that was already considered like socially, pariahs. So the idea that someone would contract the disease that people were preying on to them in terms of AIDS, of course he's not going to share that. But Pose on FX, the show that he stars on, if you're somebody who is even a little flexible and you're thinking this isn't even your thing, I would suggest you watch it, because it really shows the evolution of the LGBTQ plus community through the 80s, what things were like, how our country and our government really was not a support, in fact an enemy. It's just, it's so beautifully done, and I'm glad that he found his voice through his character, because I know he's helping so many people right now.
Yeah, and Erica, I'll just say that, we're talking about him and like his message that he's giving to the world, but we never think about Billy and like what he's being able, just imagine being able to take that off, take that raincoat of just like all the shame that was heaped on him unfairly, and just kind of remove all that, say this is who I am, and then everybody is just like, yeah, we love you.
Yeah, but but that's where this is where I'm confused, because you do see some shame here, right? I can't imagine what he must be feeling. But there has been 30 years of progress, and I get, believe me, the stigma and everything surrounding the AIDS epidemic and how this already marginalized community were completely preyed upon. I get that. How in 30 years are people still holding on to outdated misinformation associated with being HIV? I don't even think people, if you were to go down on the street, people would know that it's not a death sentence anymore.
Well, I think the biggest example of that is Magic Johnson, right? I think we saw Magic live through this, but I was just talk about ignorance. I'll point to myself first and foremost. I was talking to one of our producers, Michael Dean over there. I did not know that someone with AIDS,
HIV
positive, you could take some pills and almost use that, and definitely use that as a prophylactic against the AIDS. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I'm ignorant in that sense. But when we talk about representation all the time on this show, it comes in all forms, shapes, colors, stigmas, whatever it may be.
Diagnoses.
You have to talk about that, right? So I didn't know, had it not been for Billy in this story, I wouldn't have talked to my producer in just a casual conversation, and I would not have known that. So that's why representation is so important.
But now your sons are going to know that.
Absolutely.
And that's how these kind of stigmas go away. In another couple of years, people will know a lot more. So I'm excited about the younger generation.
Amen. Well said, Jeff. Okay, so
not me, just right over my head. Cool.
And she told Erica she looks really great
right
twice.
over the two pieces of glass. Just like, I don't want to.
I can't.
Al, I like your pen, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And I love you as a person inside.
Do you see how that works, Sam? Well, build your co-host up.
Coming up on DBL. Okay, this is an important story, everybody. She is dubbed the Queen of Meth. Tom Arnold's sister was running a drug ring while he was making it big in Hollywood. The family drama and True Crime Chronicles. And our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. Happy Hump Day, you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
For a lot of us, we rarely think about where our fuel comes from. But after the Colonial Pipeline hack, a lot of people are looking for answers. On social media, you'll see people blaming President Biden. When you can't find gas, this post reads, remember who executively ordered the Keystone pipeline to close? So let's verify. Did the Biden decision on the Keystone XL pipeline contribute to this gas crisis? Our sources are Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy and Ken Medlock from the Baker Institute at Rice University. Here's the executive order, signed on January 20th, Biden's first day in office. It revoked the permit for a plan to expand the XL pipeline, shown as a dotted line on this map.
They have nothing to do with each other, and there's no effect.
It has no bearing on gasoline supplies to the East Coast at all.
Our two experts agree. They explain that whereas the Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline across 5,500 miles in the southeast, the Keystone XL pipeline would have carried crude oil, something which needs to be refined before used as gasoline from Canada to Oklahoma.
Keystone XL was a pipeline built for the future to carry future oil should the demand be there. It's a piece of infrastructure that was never open, it was never brought to the market, and had no effect.
Our experts say that the main point here is that there's plenty of gasoline, It's just not making it to the pumps on the East Coast.
When the Colonial Pipeline went down, you severed a system that moves 1/6 of all interstate petroleum product trade in the U.S. And so that created local shortages.
So we can verify that social posts like these are false. The decision on the Keystone XL pipeline has nothing to do with the current gas crisis. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. Lori Arnold ran one of the biggest meth empires in the 90s. After being caught and serving time, she's finally sharing her story alongside her famous brother, Tom Arnold. The two kept their past a secret until now. Here's the remarkable story on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
My name is Lori Arnold. I'm a material technician. The money I make a week, I used to make that in a few minutes.
Lori Arnold was one of America's most infamous and unexpected drug lords.
So we used to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was too easy.
She turned addiction into an enterprise, which stemmed from a trauma-filled childhood. She and her brother Tom grew up in Ottumwa, Iowa, in an unstable family.
First time I took speed, I was 14, and it was with my mom.
Their mother got Lori hooked early and would offer her up to older men.
She served my sister up, her daughter, to a rapist and a serial pedophile. She said, here he is. And that's beyond bad judgment. That was a big deal. It really set the tone for me versus my mom. I mean, openly hostile from that point on.
Tom needed to escape that environment, so he moved to California to pursue writing and comedy. He went on to star in Roseanne, The Jackie Thomas Show, and more. Meanwhile, back home, Lori was running a sprawling multi-state meth empire.
Decided I was going to do something. Even if it's wrong, I'm going to do something to take care of myself.
She began using, dealing, and supplying to her hometown and beyond.
We decided to cook our own on our property, so we wouldn't have to drive to California, to get it. So I ended up hiring my own chemist to order a whole meth lab out of a catalog.
Her lab was producing between 10 to 20 pounds of meth a week.
We would order P2P, which came in 55-gallon drums from Albuquerque, and that makes the real methamphetamine. That is the Breaking Bad methamphetamine.
Each week, she raked in at least $200,000.
Lori always had a lot of friends. But I'll tell you, when she was selling drugs, she was extremely popular.
Their economically depressed hometown suddenly became a booming meth empire.
The first time I tried it, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, so I want my friends to share it with me. It wasn't like I want to go get everybody addicted and ruin their lives.
Her reign lasted about 6 years.
She became a big-time drug dealer and ended up in prison. Well, right.
In 1989, the queen of meth was caught after the FBI had been following her for years. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Because there's just some that mothers don't do.
Well, yeah, what she did was wrong. She
ruined your life.
Well, she
ruined your life.
I forgave that.
Lori was released early in 1999, only to fall back into the drug game again. After being arrested and serving time again, she was released in 2008.
I'm standing here, strong, Maybe because of what I went through. I don't know. I'll always be remembered as the queen of meth.
Wow. Earlier, Alan Torrey spoke with Lori's brother, actor Tom Arnold. Take a look.
We are here with Tom Arnold. Thank you, Tom, for coming on DBL. Now, Tom, most people know you as an actor and comedian, but what they don't know is that you and your sister Lori had a really difficult and very secret past. So if you can Wayne's World us back in time to your childhood, you're in Iowa. What was that like watching your mother expose your little sister to drugs and the complete opposite of sort of a normal childhood?
It wasn't good. I think that our mother left when I was 4 and my sister was 3. I knew our mother was not a mother. But when I was 15, I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted to drink. I wanted no adult supervision. So I moved in with her. And unfortunately, my sister followed. My sister who worshiped her. And she was 14, and the first drug she ever did was with our mother. They were bar buddies. They went out one night. They met a guy that's 23. And my mother drove my sister, 14-year-old sister, and this serial pedophile to Missouri and made them get married. And I just knew her life is over. You just screwed up your daughter's life. And that's really what happened. The guy beat her. She eventually left him. I went to get her is what happened. And then she met another guy that was the captain of the Grim Reaper motorcycle gang, married him at 18. And they were already involved with drugs. And my sister's very smart. She was great at school before she left. And she said, well, let's make this a real business.
Oh, wow.
There's no way for it to go except prison or death.
Wow.
Let's move forward to the 90s where you blew. I mean, you blew up. You starred in big gigs like Roseanne, which was maybe the biggest show of the 90s or one of them, and the Jackie Thomas Show. Meanwhile, your sister began running this massive empire. So just where do you see the split that you guys went down these different paths?
Well, in 1988, I moved to Los Angeles to write the Roseanne Show. You know, I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm in recovery, but I am that guy too. And I just knew after a year in Los Angeles, I can't keep doing this. I always had a dream, and I don't know if you call it God, but there was always some voice in my head that said, you could do better than this. Wow. There is something out there. If you get it together, there is something out there. So I just believed that. As crazy it is, I just thought, yeah, there is something outside of here. My dream is not here. It's outside of here, and I'm lucky that I got out.
What's your relationship with your sister like right now? I'm fascinated to know if you guys are getting along. How do you guys deal with each other?
You know, she is my little sister, and there's a lot of pictures of us growing up, and we've always had that relationship. I always thought I was like a parent to her, which I'm sure got very annoying because we're a year and a half apart. It's good. You know, the first time she got arrested, I was so sad. I was out in Los Angeles. I got a call from one of the feds. He said, there's nothing you can do. This is what happened. I was just terribly, terribly sad. They wanted to send her to prison for life, and I helped her get a good lawyer. They got that cut down. But the second time, after she'd been in prison for 8.5 years and went back there and started doing it again, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very angry. And I even warned her, they know you're dealing. If you stop today, they won't arrest you. And she's like, mind your own blank business.
Wow.
But I'm very proud of her now. She's living an honest life. She was honest in this documentary series. She got confronted by her son. She got confronted by other people. And I'm very proud of the life she's living now.
Wow, that's amazing. You can learn more about Lori's story. Watch the brand new documentary, Queen of Meth. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, brother.
We really do. Thanks again. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Vehicle escape tools, sometimes called window punchers, are designed to quickly break glass so you can escape your car, whether it's underwater or on fire. They are especially popular in areas prone to flooding because water can make it difficult to open doors and windows because of the pressure. They are cheap and used to be effective. That's not always the case anymore. These escape tools work best on tempered glass, the safety glass used in vehicles for years. When broken, it shatters into small chunks instead of large shards. Now more and more vehicles are designed using laminate glass that uses a thin film to hold together a window if it breaks. It was once just used for front windshields, but more and more manufacturers now use it for side windows. According to research from AAA, no escape tool they tested could break laminate glass. So how can you tell if your glass is laminate or tempered? You can always dig through your driver's manual, or you can check the window itself. It should have a sticker in the corner indicating tempered or laminate glass. AAA says manufacturers usually leave one window tempered, so make sure you know which one it is.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So scammers are taking advantage of the warmer weather to cheat you out of your hard-earned money. Beware of these home utility scams. So first, the power shutoff scam. Con artists will pose as electric company employees, telling you they'll turn off your power if you don't pay. Related to that, watch out for utility imposters. They also pretend to be with the water or electric company just so they can get into your house and steal stuff. Finally, be cautious of overpayment scams. The scammer will say you paid too much on your utility bill and ask you to sign a form to get the refund. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. So they full on dress up in the garb and knock on your door? Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, they're trying to steal money. While you're at work all day, while our viewers are thinking about their lives, there are people that are spending that much time and figuring out how to steal from you. So be careful. Just know that like a worker would never talk to you about billing. There's a whole other section for that. So anybody at your house wouldn't be talking to you about your bill. That's not their business.
Nor are they just going to come knock on your door.
No.
Unannounced.
Right, like, we got to come in and fix. Well, actually, if they're like, we got to come in and fix the
boiler?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I guess so.
That's honest.
You know what I mean?
That's honest. Well, now you learn.
That's how people feel. That's how they get over.
Come try it.
Yeah. Bring it.
Watch out. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
a lot of us are ready to start traveling again, but flying the friendly skies may bring more stress than excitement. Let's connect the dots. Mental health professionals have a name for this: re-entry anxiety. They say it affects both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So what can you do about it? First things first, if you have extreme anxiety, chat with your doctor. But if you're simply worried or feeling uneasy, experts recommend exposure therapy, easing back into situations. The key is to start slowly. If you're worried about restaurants in a strange city, try going to one in your hometown that you're comfortable with. If a long plane ride is the issue, try a shorter trip first. Or if you're worried about a big hotel with a crowded lobby, book an Airbnb. Experts also recommend accepting this new normal. Just acknowledging that most people are feeling the same way can bring you some comfort. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Erica's back. You got some comments for us?
I do, about Harry and Meghan. Arla says, Harry is the product of two incredible human beings, as is Meghan. Stop being so judgy. Where Denise says, my opinion is Meghan is a narcissist and narcissism is polarizing. On the Friends reunion, Vanessa says, I'm so excited for the Friends reunion. So many memories. Where Dale says, love the nostalgic feels I'm getting from that trailer.
Stop being so judgy on an opinionated talk show.
Exactly.
Everything is just like, yeah, that seems good.
Erica, really quickly, are you going to go out afterwards in that fabulous outfit? You better. I guess not. Have a good day, everybody.